Like to apologize for the 11-minute late start. We had some technical difficulties because tonight we are going to be joined by one of the best known and most accomplished criminal defense attorneys in this country, if not the wider Caribbean, Mr. Vernon de Lima. And he will be joining us to discuss many of the issues that have been plaguing our criminal justice system for decades. And we're going to discuss why has nothing been done to fix it, what is wrong with it, and how do we get it to work. When we come back from this break, we're going to have well-known and accomplished criminal defense attorney Vernon de Lima joining us. Stand by.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air-conditioned units starting at $2,100 with installation. We supply Lennox, Pioneer, Infinity, and Comfy units, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Facebook and Instagram. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters for high-quality wood and steel doors, bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, and decks. We specialize in bank counters, office furniture, cabinetry with granite countertops, and over 500 architectural molding designs. We provide complete outfitting for hotels, resorts, hospitals, banks, tertiary institutions, condominiums, and residential projects. We also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak lumber locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and properly dried in our computerized kiln at our factory's facilities in Trinidad. For over 32 years, our products have been standing strong, and we are committed to providing after-sales support. Visit our showroom or check out our website at www.uniquedoors-tt.com. It's the quality that makes us unique.
And we're back, and as promised, we have on the phone with us from the United States, well-known and accomplished criminal defense attorney, Vernon de Lima. Good evening, Mr. de Lima.
Good evening, Mr. Alexander. Nice to talk to you.
We'll dispense with the pleasantries, and it's Vernon and Philip from now going forward.
Right.
And it is always nice to have you with us to discuss these very serious issues that requires someone knowledgeable to get into it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And good evening to all your viewers.
The project that you're working on right now, is it top secret, or can the world know that it is almost ready to be launched?
It's almost ready. I have about 3 or 4 months to ready, I think.
So you're still keeping a lid on it, or you want to tell them what's coming?
No, I'll keep a lid on it.
We'll keep a lid on it. Well then, I feel bad for alluding to it. I'm in the loop. I feel like I'm in the loop.
That's right.
I'm in the loop.
That's okay.
Vernon, the criminal justice system in Trinidad and Tobago does not work well, has not worked well for a long time. Why might that be so?
Well, the criminal justice system is a conglomerate of things. It's not one thing. It is a combination of things, of agencies, as it were, of the government. Like, for instance, it is the investigation of crime. That's where it starts. That's where the criminal justice system starts, the investigation of crime. And then you have arrest of the suspect.
Vernon, sorry for interrupting you. We need you to speak closer to your mouthpiece if that is possible, of the phone.
Yes.
Get closer to you because people come in and they want to hear what you're saying.
I was saying that
Satish is saying you could put the phone to your head even though he's bringing him live on the video feed. Satish saying you could put the phone to your head if you want, or get your voice to the.
No, can you hear me now?
I am hearing you clear. I just waiting for a thumbs up from Satish that his audio. I think the problem he having is his speakerphone. I think he wants your off speakerphone so that we could hear you clearer on our end. And sorry about that.
All right. Okay, I've taken it off the speakerphone.
Right. So Satish, I'm waiting for a thumbs up.
Is it better now?
I have a thumbs up from Satish. Yes, let's go. Sorry about that. So you were saying that the criminal justice.
No, I can't hear you. Oh, I can't hear you, Philip.
That's why Satish said put it to your head. Put the
Yeah, all
phone.
right. What about that?
Yeah. If you could hear me through that, then we will have to operate.
Yes, okay, fine. I'll be all right here. Yes, as I was telling you, it's a conglomeration of a number of things. The first thing is the investigation of crime, and then the arrest of the suspect, and then the prosecution of a criminal defendant, and then fourthly sentencing of the man. And then finally punishment, which is the prisons, right? So it's a whole array of matters that have to be taken into account when you consider that. And the main purpose of it really is to ensure that every citizen in Trinidad and Tobago obtains justice. That is what it is about, and that is the criminal justice system.
So that you have the criminal. It's a network of things.
Interlocking components, I guess.
Yes, the police. First of all, it starts with the police, right? And then it goes to the public, and the defense lawyers.
It goes to the prosecutor.
The prosecutors, yes, the prosecutors and the defense lawyers, and then you have the courts, and then finally the prisons. So you see, it's a whole array. It's a whole array of things. And when I heard you, I have been following you from the United States with what you've been saying about the criminal justice system. And I noticed that you put it in as one of the 4 or 5 matters that the Candlelight petition is about.
Yes.
But I tell you quite frankly that is the most. It is a very wide scope matter. Eh? The other ones are ad hoc. You know, the giving of pepper spray to women, and the fast channeling of firearm licenses for women and so on. Those are all ad hoc matters. But this thing that you talk about here, when you come down to the criminal justice system, you're talking serious potatoes there, because that is a whole network of matters, as I said.
Well, if you look at where we are today, take today for an example, right? Because any day, I am sure, if we go back far enough in history, we will find something that was not done to the benefit of justice. Today is 7 years since we learned coverage of the Vindja Naipaul Coleman murder trial, that she was sliced into pieces. That was the front page of the Express 7 years ago today. And while there's been a trial, there's been no justice.
Yes. Yes, I know. I know. In fact, I left Trinidad at the time that matter was going on. So that would have been about 5 years ago, 5 years and a bit. And but was there a conviction in that matter?
No.
Or did
Technicality,
no
everybody alive and well and living in Diego Martin.
Right.
But so if we were to take it piecemeal, we could say that the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is the situation surrounding the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service where investigation and prosecutions are concerned, is those things are ramping up with the advent of your very good friend and now Commissioner Gary Griffith.
Yes, yeah. He's doing an excellent job. But there's a mammoth task he has ahead of him, because let me tell you something. This criminal justice system started to collapse around, I can tell you when it happened. It happened around 1970. It's as far back as that, right? Because it was shortly after that, after 1970, and the uprising of the soldiers and the Black Power, and that you had coming into effect the people, Mr. Burroughs, right, who headed what he called the Flying Squad. Now, that Flying Squad took the law into their hands, and they used to do all sorts of things, and it is from there, in my respectful submission, it is from there that the trouble began.
I want to interrupt you for 1 second and ask you one question.
Yes.
Because prior to the advent of the Flying Squad,
Yes.
was the police service functional or not?
In my opinion, it was. In my opinion, it was.
More, better than now, worse than now, on par with now?
Better than now. Better than now. You see, what is very important, and you must not miss this point, is that what happened is that people lost confidence in the police. Now, that is a serious thing, They lost confidence in the police. That is to say, now, and I can talk, because let me tell you something. I was 52 years doing this thing, and I'm on my way out, and so on. And I ain't carrying no baggage with me. I leave it without a briefcase, right? So let me explain something to you. When the day came that people were afraid to go into police stations to make reports, that's when the crap hit the fan. That's when the thing started. And I remember it well. I remember it very, very well, right? People would have a problem, and they would rather not go to the police station because they were afraid to enter the police station, because invariably they were met with the attitude of, what the hell what you come here for? What you come here for? Right? And then all sorts of funny things began happening. I mean, when with that Flying Squad, as I tell you, when the time is right, you will read all about it, right? But I can tell you that's where this thing started.
So, but I want to ask you a question, right?
Yes.
Where we came to now, and I remember I was talking to a couple of the members of the Candlelight movement this evening, and I was reminding them that the week between when Andrea went missing and when they found her body, the police had arrested two of the people that weekend. There were people using the girl's phone, there was people using the girl's bank card. I think there was even rumor of somebody was wearing her slippers. The reality is Trinidad started to call for frontier justice. We started to call for Moses Law. We started to call for the dispensation. People started to long again for the days of a Flying Squad where the commissioner of police could bypass the system and dispense justice on the barrel of a gun.
You think it started there? It didn't start there.
No, I didn't say it did. I'm just pointing out in this conversation,
Yes.
because because Trinidadians are incensed. Now, if you listen to the argument that is going on between the Parliament, the Police Service, and the Law Association, where no bail for all sorts of matters is concerned, that raises so many specters of abuse by police officers apart and aside from everything else. It raises that specter, but more importantly, why would the police need that if the actual court system in the criminal justice system was doing its job?
I agree with you entirely, because again, you go back, you see, people want all concomitant with this judicial, what it is, the criminal justice system. People want to know and to believe that when they call the police will act promptly, right? That they will get a prompt dispensation of justice in the court as well, and that thereafter the matter will be dealt promptly. And that is what we're going to, I say promptly all the time, because you see, over the years, little by little, right, the situation has ebbed its way to us accepting that 3 years is a sufficient time for trial. And that is bull. That is nonsense. That 3 years is not 3 years is far too many years.
And
right?
I agree with you. I had to research to find out how long did the Nuremberg trial take, and it took 10 months.
Yeah.
10 months. Nuremberg took 10 months. Why would our piddling cases? Look at the Sean Luke murder case. This is 15 years. The case is about to start.
Can you imagine if that boy was alive? He would be nearly 20 years of age.
But Vernon, I met his mother in Baraka grounds when we had the second of our public meetings.
Yes.
And she just held me and sobbed. And I know that I felt in that moment, she's not yet had closure. 15 years she's carried. Now, you're going to have the pain of the loss.
Yes.
But she's not had anything like closure, because there's nothing like justice done in this case.
Yes, I agree with you. I understand it, right? And you see, the swiftness of punishment. That is, we don't have that in Trinidad, and we're years and years away from having it unless something is done, unless some radical sort of investigation or inquiry or something takes place. You want to call it a commission of inquiry? Do I don't particularly like even the name commission of inquiry, because over the years they've had so many commissions of inquiry and they've ended up in the dustbin.
Yeah, but Vernon, you and I would agree that they ended up in the dustbin because the powers that be and the governments of the day ignored the findings of the commissions of inquiry. They refused to adhere to the recommendations of the commissions of inquiry. It is the governments of the day that have given commissions of inquiry a bad name.
But look, that is one part of it. But look at what it has caused. Look at what that has caused. You take for instance the La Tinta Commission of Inquiry, right? The La Tinta Commission of Inquiry, they had about 20 policemen, and the commission found that all of them had done wrong, right? And they had made recommendations that they should be dealt with according to law and so. And the government changed, and right away they were all released. They were all discharged, and they were put in charge of police stations all over Trinidad. So as a matter of fact, could you imagine that? I mean, I myself walked into a police station and I met one of these fellas, right? And the fella made gambage over me, man. Right? He said, "Mr. Lima, man, he said, glad to see you, man. But what you come here for?" Right? And right away I realized I was in a den. Right? And I said to him, no, sorry, I made a mistake. I came to the wrong police station. I got the hell out of here. Right? But that is the kind of thing that took place.
But that must raise a question in a country
questions.
but in a country that wants to consider itself a modern, structured, system-led or country. There must be some checks and balances to prevent things like that from happening.
No, you see, no. In those days, it was. I mean, you're either with the boys or you're against the boys.
What year was
Let me
Latinto?
tell you something. What?
What year was Latinto?
Latinto was in the 70s.
Okay.
In the 70s. What am I saying? Is it? Hold a minute. Latinto was. I'll tell you right now. The Latinto inquiry. In the 80s. But Latinta came long after what I'm telling you about that. What I believe started as thing off was in 1970, our experience that Trinidad had. By 70, it is where the thing started, because that was the introduction of the flying squad. And from there, the thing started to go downhill all the way, right? Until by the time you got to Latinto, I'm glad you mentioned that. Half of the fellas inside the Latinto had been involved with the flying squad. Half of that crowd. So that the band was fully established by then.
But all through the Caribbean and Latin America, we had Dr. Politics and mongoose gangs and all of this sort of thing going on at the same time, rippling through the Caribbean. Remember that?
Yes, I remember that.
So Trinidad was just keeping up with the Joneses where that was concerned. But what I want to ask you is this, and the thing that you have the most knowledge on is the issue of the actual court system, because you could you're correct, the interlocking components, that the police service is responsible for investigation and charge, and the director of public prosecution's office is responsible from the charge to prosecution, and the courts is supposed to handle that in an expeditious manner and dispense speedy justice. But that does not occur. None of that occurs.
No, and it starts going backwards from the 80s as well, all around that time, right? It starts whenever there was a case, there would always be some excuse. They couldn't. The policeman was not there. He had to go to some other case. Or the exhibit hadn't been examined by the forensic department as yet, and so on and so on. Always there was an excuse, and little by little the time started to go back from when you had a criminal case, normally it would take like 2-3 months to finish. Then you had this thing where it started dropping back to 6 months, 8 months, a year and a half, 2 years, and then this thing started to go right the way back. Right? But it got to a stage. It got to a stage, my dear good fellow. And I repeat this all the time, because this is an experience I had. One of the last cases I did in Trinidad, which would have been when 5 years ago. I was in Tonapuna court for a very simple matter, and the case had been adjourned for about 2 years. And I said to the magistrate, I said, Madam, this matter has been 2 years here. And I would like to finish this thing. And the policeman, the police prosecutor explained to the court that the complainant was in another matter in Port of Spain. Whereupon the magistrate adjourned the matter for nearly a year. And I couldn't believe what I was hearing, and I got up and I started to pack my stuff to leave, and she said to me, she said you seem to be annoyed. I said, yes, I am annoyed. Yeah, why are you annoyed? I said, because I can't believe that you would treat this man this way and put off this case for another year. And so she said, well, you could say what you want. This is my court. Right? End the story. And that was the thing.
And that raises this question. Who can you complain about in a situation? Who can you complain to about errands?
Nobody really. Nobody really.
So Vernon, this is not a real country. This pretends to be one. We have systems and fancy buildings. We have parliament buildings and halls of justice, but we really don't know what we're doing.
Yes, I agree with you.
Stevens and Johnson's case took 25 years for breaking and entering.
Yes, I remember reading about that case. That store gone out of business in many, many years now. Right? And a lot of people didn't even know that store existed. And so, it sounds like a joke, but it's a serious,
but it's not a joke.
Thing.
It cannot be a joke because
no, it can't.
I know somebody who, her sister was raped by the ranking officer in a police station, and that matter took 17 years.
Yeah.
In matters that are so clear-cut, why would it require so much time? And right now, and I want to tell you this, because I'm involved in a couple defamation cases, and the judges are saying straight off the bat that the dockets are full until 2023, we're in 2021.
Yeah.
So whose job? Is it the Chief Justice's job to realize that the judges are overburdened right now, that the dockets are overfull, that they can't handle, to request more courts, to request more judges, to request 24-hour sittings? We're doing virtual courts now, so you don't have to open the courthouse. Why are we not doing virtual sittings round the clock?
Yeah, and I think I go back to that. I think that the management of the courts is the responsibility of the Chief Justice. It always used to be that way. And I'll tell you something. For what it is worth, I had somebody point out to me the other day, and they were right. I couldn't oppose what they were saying. That when Chief Justice De La Bastide was at the helm, right? The court list was being conducted in a proper fashion, and I mean they had things under control.
You are the second person to say that to me. A former appeal court judge told me that the backlog was removed. He said said you could have appealed a matter in the morning in the magistrate court and cross over to a hall, and they're sitting there waiting during the afternoon to hear your appeal.
That is correct. That's correct.
So what was the La Bastide doing that Ivor Archie can't do or don't know how to do? Or is it that we have more cases now or less judges now? What is going on? Trinidadians must want to know.
Yes, because all that is part of the clog of what is taking place in the country, and I mean, and it doesn't end there. If I may go a little further, go to the prison, and how it is that the prisoners have not rebelled as yet, and God alone knows. I don't understand it, because let me tell you something. A lot of those prisoners inside there for much longer periods of time than they
Vernon, I have referred to that as a human rights atrocity. Trinidad and Tobago is what we are doing. These people, someone told me that a lot of these people, if they had pled guilty to the matter, they would have served time and come out years ago. How is there nobody in this country concerned?
That's correct.
You have a 5% conviction rate. That means 95% of the people on remand are innocent people serving time in a jail cell.
Yes, and before you even get any further, because you see that thing upsets me so badly every time I think about it. Even though I am retired now, and I will never enter court again as long as I live. But I still hear what is going on, and I know what is happening up at Golden Grove, and it is monstrous. That's all I can tell you. That people up there, I mean, they lose all sorts of hope.
But I have to ask you again. I have to ask you again, Vernon. This is not a real country. We cannot pretend to be a real country where the parliament has an attorney general and a minister of national security shopping this idea all over town to remove bail from all sorts of manners, lock them up and keep them locked up because the court system can't handle it. What's the difference between that and instant justice dispensed at the barrel of a gun? We've moved beyond real justice in this country. We've moved far beyond it. I don't know what this is. This is the right of kings. This is the right of kings.
That cannot happen, man. That will not happen. I'm pretty sure that the people of Trinidad and Tobago will never allow that to happen, right? But I mean, I'm looking at the actual situation, right? The prisoners inside of there, many of those people are inside of the jail for longer periods of time than their sentences would be.
And look at the amount of people could deal with that. Look at the amount of people could deal with that. The commissioner of police could drop all charges of anybody there longer than they should be, but he said to me that that's politics and he can't get involved in that. The director of public prosecutions could summon all cases that in there longer than, say, 7 years, have all of them plead guilty, or he could just discontinue all matters according to the Constitution. That's the power of the director of public prosecutions. The Chief Justice or any judge could summon every one of them that they're longer than 7 years, have them plead guilty and sentence them to time served. The President of the Republic could have them all come and plead guilty and pardon everybody. We have so many offices of state that could deal with this, and we're not dealing with this human rights atrocity because in Trinidad and Tobago, a charge is guilty.
Yeah, but you only touching the rim. What about the 800 and more people inside there for murder? 800 people inside of the jail for murder right now. I read it last week. When I was in Trinidad, it was nearly 1,000. I think it was 1,000. There's 800 and something people. Right? I heard the commissioner, or one of them on the radio at 6:30 in the morning, saying there's 800 and something people inside of the jail. You can check up on that, right? And awaiting trial for murder. There's no bail for murder. So they have to be inside of there. And all you could try for murder a year in Trinidad is about 20. So where they going with that? Where are they going with that?
So you're saying that we have people inside there the next 40 years?
Yes. But it stands to reason, my dear good fellow. Right? What is going to happen to them? I mean, that is looking at a situation. You could imagine that you are one of those men inside of there, right? And whether you had some fight or something, and you might have killed somebody and so on, and you're inside of there.
You're assuming that the person might have done something. What about those who genuinely get innocent?
Well, exactly, as well, right? But you have to, you're innocent until you're proven guilty. But you're inside of there, and they're telling you, you have to wait your turn. You have to wait your turn, right? You know, come in, man. You know, come in. You have to wait your turn, right? And look at that. What are you doing about that? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
What is the Chief Justice doing about that?
But I don't know.
But Vernon, I want to say that is evidence that the Chief Justice has failed in his job, and that is a reason to call for his removal. We've called for his removal for all sorts of piffling nonsense before. Yeah. But this is a real issue to fire him for.
That's serious. That is serious. Right?
We are denying people basic human right, the right to liberty. And Trinidadians will watch this and say, nah, lock them up and throw away the key. And they will feel that way until it is them or one of their loved ones. And then they realize that not everybody who want to charge guilty.
Right, but you see, people in Trinidad, you have to understand something to it. They are exasperated. Right? They've got to the point of in time. Now, I saw... Philip, I see all what goes on in Trinidad when you go to these candlelight things, and I see it, I see it on the television. I see it, and I see when the man comes and he talks about his daughter and what I started to cry and all this kind of thing. I know, I followed the thing, right, and it hurts me to see what is going on down there, and one gets the impression that there's no hope. And that is more.
It's feeling hopeless, Vernon.
Yeah.
We in the Candlelight movement trying to give people some hope. We're trying to tell them we're going to fill out a petition. Hundreds of thousands of people are signing this petition, but they're asking, what happens if these people in the parliament ignore it?
Yeah.
And then I have to explain to each and every one of them singly and collectively, the parliament works for us. And if the parliament cannot take a direct instruction through hundreds of thousands of signatures on a petition, we are going to have to take steps to fire the people in the parliament. Legally, lawfully.
I agree with you, but I don't think the parliament will agree with you that they work for you.
20 cases on death row. 3 have exhausted all appeals within the time frame of Pratt and Morgan. Government don't want to touch it.
But that's another thing. That you see that you know, in Trinidad we have no feeling of purpose as far as our law is concerned. There's no feeling that, well, look here, this thing has happened, so therefore there's a certainty of punishment, right? There's none of that, right? You have a law that says that a man who commits murder must hang, and that is the sentence passed on this man every time he's found guilty. And the people laughing at it, they're laughing at it, right? And then you have when people try to say, well, look, let us adhere to the law. You have a number of people, running here, there, and everywhere, talking about, you must abolish this and you must abolish. Well, you want to abolish it? Well, good God, take it to Parliament and abolish it. No, but you have not abolished it. It is the law of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, then carry out the law. And then you have another thing is men raping women and killing them and so on. Philip, in my view, any man who beats a woman or who rapes a woman, he has a right to be beaten himself. That is my view. And the law is there that says that you have the cat of 9 tails and the birch. They steal the law, but they don't carry it out. They don't carry it out at all. And then when you try to tell them that they must impose the law, you have one or two fellas jumping up and saying, oh no, that is a barbaric law, and so on. But it's not barbaric when they take your water.
And does it? It seems to be that there are plenty of people to fight for human rights at the wrong end of the conversation.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Right? So those are the things that we're facing. Those are the things.
When Karen Sargomes and Candace Carrington Scott were raped and murdered in Westmoreland, and civil society marched on the Prime Minister and the President, Keith Sobey and the then Attorney General hanged Glenn Ashby. They said that was an illegal act, that he committed murder, that Ashby that had appeals pending. If we could act as a reaction, why can't we act as an action as a country? What is keeping us so beaten down that we will watch incompetent people revolve through that parliament and do nothing of substance or value to fix any of these things? Because this show tonight could have been about education and nothing works. It could have been about water and nothing works. It could have been about national security, nothing works. I mean, we're locked down in Trinidad and Tobago. We're locked down, but thousands of people coming into the country. There are people sending me videos from Shagaramas, from the fishing company that buying fish from Venezuelan fishermen. The boat coming with 20 people on the boat and leaving with just the driver. And if I am seeing it, there's nobody else in the country that with an office that could see it. I wanted to read to you the messages that I get on a now hourly basis. Trinidadians are in despair.
I could imagine. I could well imagine. Some of them speak to me on the telephone, and I know what is happening. Right? I follow what is going on down there, and it seems to me that the parliamentarians really don't care. They really don't care. They have the attitude they have is, I'm all right, Jack. Right? They're doing all right and what have you and so on. And You look at this COVID thing that is taking place. Everybody's suffering all over the world. All over the world, everybody's suffering, right? And so, and banding the jaw, and banding the stomach, and all sorts of things, and tightening up the belt, and so. Are they doing it in Trinidad?
We spent $18 billion, and nobody knows on what. Nobody knows on what. We see 3 videos of people get some hamper with cassava and green fig, but nobody know what the 18 billion spent on. There are some very wealthy businessmen in this country that their businesses, like every other business, should have suffered. They would have suffered, but they don't look like they're suffering. I think that there's an old boys club in this country. I got some information. The best heart surgery that is done in this country is done at the Port of Spain General Hospital. And that if we go and we audit the list of surgeries done in the last 10 years, 95% of the people who on that list could have afforded surgery in Sinclair and West Shore. They have a couple poor people inside of there too, but it looks like this entire country is set up to the benefit of a few at the expense of everybody else.
Yeah. Well, that has always been the system as far as the law is concerned. I can tell you that, right? Over the years, I saw it happen, right? And I mean, you hear people telling you all the time, and it's true. How many big boys you ever see get charged with anything? In Trinidad, you know what I mean, right?
But that brings you back to the criminal justice system. That brings you right back to this. It brings you full circle, because we're talking about that. We're talking about the fact that there are people who are making reports about things that go wrong. We spent $150 million last check trying to recover the $1 billion stolen at Piaco, allegedly rumored to be stolen at Piaco. In Trinidad and Tobago, we clogging the courts with defamation matters to prevent people from speaking. Somebody sent me a picture today of a mansion in Manzanilla, a collection of mansions in Manzanilla, and told me that is connected to a government minister. I can't ask a question. That'll be strict defamation in this country. 2 people, Suzette Law and Marcia Braveboy, got information that there may have been a connection between a government minister and a supplier of vaccinations. Ask the question in the public space to get an answer in a country where you and I have just agreed that there are no systems in place to look over anybody's shoulder to make sure the actual job is being done and that crookedness is not taking place. And the first words out of the minister's mouth is he is going to sue them for defamation. And in Prakash Ramada's matter that got all the way to the Privy Council. You read what the Lord said on this nonsense defamation, and said that it is far too obvious to need stating. I thought that was an insult to our entire bench.
But it was. It was, because what they were actually in fact saying is that you really have to tell you this.
You should know this. They're saying you should know this. They had to say that when civic-minded persons put themselves at risk to raise issues in the public space, don't expect it to be written like a legal brief.
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
I mean, I think that is the most important judgment. We have public statutory companies in this country that are funded by taxpayer funds, that are responsible to the taxpayers only, that are suing citizens for asking questions about what they're doing with public funds.
Yes, it's unbelievable.
We're not in any other country of this world. I mean, we could only associate with the most failed of states. Trinidad is not a real country.
Something has to give. I'm not kidding you. Something has to give, because it cannot continue like that. It cannot. You
have so much information. You have so much knowledge. Your mind is so crisp and clear. You're telling me that nobody in any public office can realize the benefit that you and others like you, now retired, who have so much institutional, systemic knowledge of the entire system and everything that has taken place, and can't put you all to some good work to help us bring this back from the abyss of nonsense that it is?
I know, and you know who I feel very sorry for? The children of Trinidad and Tobago, because you know they're not being given a fair deal, you know, a proper chance in life, and as you say, there are people who know what is happening, right? But a lot of people, Philip, are as you also said, right? They're disdainful of coming out and speaking. A lot of them, you know, I know, because I've met some of them. They take the view, look, I better leave Trinidad and go away, right? A lot of them have that attitude, right? Look, I can't stand it anymore, so I go on.
But you've
right?
been out of this place for a while.
Yes,
I am sure you have exhaled. I am sure you've unclenched your fists. I'm sure you've stopped looking over your shoulder every noise you hear.
That's correct. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And you know what is so terrible is that when I come back to Trinidad, it all starts up again. Because remember something, I am speaking to you here tonight as, first of all, as an attorney, but also as a victim, because I was a victim. Me and my wife were victims down there too, you know. So I know when people talk about how they feel about crime and how come the matter taking so long and so on. I know because I was there. And let me tell you, right, while we're on that, right, that was the most atrocious business. When they called me to the identification parade, they had a woman in the room with me, right, when I was supposed to point out the man, and I asked the police inspector, who is this woman? Oh, he says that is the mother of the suspect, to ensure fairness, right? I said, to ensure fairness to whom? Right? He said, look, Mr. Lima, see if you see the man, see if you see the man, and let's go about our business here tonight. Could you imagine that, right? So that is what people have to go through. And I went through it, I saw it. So you think they're going to go and identify anybody? In my case, I did not see the man at the parade, right? And thank God, because let me tell you something. If I'd seen him on the parade, right, as one or two of my lawyer colleagues told me, they said, well, but if you see the man at the parade, you'll be coming back here for the next 20 years, boy. Every time the case call, you have to fly back from wherever you are. Right, and then you go in the court.
So they get away with murder.
That's correct. That's correct. The whole damn thing is I am so upset about this thing, and the whole judicial system is in a mess. And whoever says that it's not in a mess, they damn lie, right? And who's suffering is the poor people of Trinidad and Tobago catching the royal ass, right? While everybody else, right, his lordship and madam and everybody very happy driving around in the big car, the chauffeur and what have you and so on. But all these poor citizens of Trinidad have to catch the ass. That's what's happening to them.
Somebody said at one of the vigils, Vernon, that they have bodyguards and you have body bags.
Yeah, that's correct. You know, one day, I was in Hilo. And you see, I have to remember Trinidad is a small place, small, right? So when a man comes into your house and beat you up or shoot you or whatever it is, and you live, the chances I go see him again, you know. I'm telling you, right? It wasn't more than two months I was in Trinidad, and I had gone back to Trinidad because we had come up here because Jennifer was already ailing. But it does another thing. They beat her up. They virtually killed her. That's what they did. They murdered her. Because she developed this thing.
She never recovered?
Nah. She was dead within 8 months, man. 8 months of the beating, she was dead. So I go back.
But I couldn't believe what I saw of her face.
Yeah, it's terrible. That's what they did to her. They kick up in her face with steel shoes. Steel tip shoes. But let me tell you, when I went into high-low, and I was in a line waiting to pay, and the man in front of me was buying a pack of cigarettes, and he turned around and he looked me in my face, and I realized that he was one of the men.
Wow.
Right? So he dropped his cigarettes and ran out of high-low. So I just looked at the cashier and everybody. I said, that is one of the men that beat us up. So the cashier said, well, Mr. Limo, you take it so easy. I said, well, what do you want me to do?
What could you do?
What could I do? The man
What could you do in a country where you have no rights?
Exactly. So you see, that is it. So you know, we're talking here tonight, and people listening to this show have to understand. There, but for the grace of God, go you know.
And I keep telling them that, Vernon, I keep telling them the wolf is at everybody's door. Trinidad is in a dangerous state right now. Look at these girls who have come out. They have people who have come out and who have come out after these two fellas who were involved, who are rumored, alleged to have been involved in the Andrea Barrett kidnap, rape and murder case. We've told they're dead. They have so many women. Some don't want to speak out. Some would message us and say, I cannot tell my story yet. They have people who've been carrying pain for 16 years. I remember one activist come and talk out, one of the fellas, as if he was some saint. And people were calling me, a Calypsonian called me and tell me, boy, ignore that man. This fella come and rob my bar with his gang and beat us up. These guys, they run like they have there's nothing you could do them.
No.
We are finding, I mean, if this was a real country, we would have sent people into the Aripo Hills and don't come out till every skeleton has been found.
That's correct. You're right.
We're finding out now that these people have this style where you kill somebody and you go and you kill a big dog and you bury the body 6 feet down and then you put 3 feet of dirt and then you bury the dog so that if they smell something and they come and they dig it up, they find the dog and they say, nah, it's just a big dead dog. Yeah, this is the knowledge. This is the knowledge criminals have in this country. So now police have to say, if you find a big dead animal buried, call us. We're going to dig below that.
Right, and a repo has now become a burying ground. That is a burying ground, you know, up there. I'm sure if they continue investigating up there, go find more. You know, the whole thing has gone. It's just gone.
You heard the family in Baraka Grounds talking about waiting for DNA on bones they find. To just get closure. The man crying on stage. I listened to Mr. Munisa in Arima. That one break me. This man begging people to stop and take him to the hospital with his child, and people complete.
They say the blood, too much blood. That. Let me tell you something. There are people like that, you know. I encountered people like that already. There are people like that in Trinidad. Don't know
that. Dilima, tell me tonight. You are one of the few people that I have nothing but respect for. Tell me tonight, Navunan. Give me some advice. Tell me. Is there anything left worth fighting for in this hellhole? Is there anything left?
Yes, the children.
But how do we fight for the children when the adults who have the vote, who have the right to come out and stand up and sign petition, and those people, how do we fight for the children when we can't get the adults who have the decision-making power to come out and stand up?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how I view this thing. In every society, there are people who will be very bad people, right? But there will be people who are very good people too. And Trinidad and Tobago has a lot of good people. I promise you, I know what I'm telling you, and they're good people. That little by little, they're starting to come out. You see what you are doing, what you have been doing, and you and I have got the other gentleman, and I hear him too, and what have you. He has his own show as well. And the young ladies that you have working with you, I see all of them, and they're all blessed people, right? And you're going to have the backing of Almighty God. And that is important. That don't ever leave God out of the equation. Trinidad is a Catholic country and a Christian country and a religious country, right? Irrespective of religion, right? And sooner or later you're going to get a leg up. One of the great things that has happened in Trinidad and Tobago is the coming into office of Gary Griffith, right? He is a good man. And I know the man. I give personal testimony about this, right? He is a good and honest and decent man. And if he goes in front of you and leads with the banner and everybody behind him, there's a place for Trinidad again, right? Sooner or later, we'll get rid of all those bastards who have been doing and denying Trinidad and Tobago what is rightfully their own. I promise you, that day is going to come, Philip.
Vernon,
right?
you keep
Just
telling
hold
me,
on.
you keep
Yeah,
telling
hold
me
on.
you're in the departure lounge. I keep praying that God blesses you with decades more, because we're going to need people like you. Vernon, we need people like you. And I want to ask you to reach out to your entire network of retired judges and retired attorneys and ask them to please, for the love of anybody else that they're leaving behind, stand up and speak out. Vernon, last week I had to call a former government minister to ask him to speak on us informed, knowledgeable aspect of something we were discussing. You know, the man tell me he afraid of the current government.
Yeah, but he's not unique.
He's
He is not
afraid
unique.
of the government.
He's not unique, and this thing started. You see, I go back again. I keep telling you, there's a genesis of this. This started with Burroughs and that crowd again.
But it's not just Boris Vernon. They have to own the media. They have to own and control offices of state. Somebody said that it is not the person at the top leading the charge into the criminality. It is all of those functional office holders who facilitate the movement of criminal self-enrichment.
Yes, yeah, but because they have the blessing of those people. That is what happened. That is what has happened. You can't get away from that, you know, right? Let me tell you something. And Gary Griffith, right? I mean, I don't know how he's doing, but let me tell you something. Inside that police service, there are plenty bad people.
No, they want to kick him. They want to kick Gary because he can't fix it fast enough. And that is the nonsense Trinidadians do. And I asked plenty of them, you know. There were a couple fellas I had to remove from my Facebook because I asked them when Stephen Williams and Philbert and the rest of them was there, you wasn't making this kind of noise. You have a commissioner now who actually turning things up, who will come out in the public and discuss what he dealing with, and he is disrespected.
Yeah. That's right. It is unbelievable to me, but as I say, I still have confidence, Philip. I still have confidence that the majority of people in Trinidad and Tobago are good people. I have no doubt about that in my mind.
I want to tell you something. I feel when the borders finally open in this country, however long it takes, that there'll be a mass exodus. I think people will leave with the shirt on their back and just go anywhere to start over. There have few countries in this world that you could name that are worse than Trinidad. I was going to ask you one more question. We are part of a commonwealth that is headed by the Queen. Can we not write the Queen and ask her to intervene, to have a conversation with our Prime Minister, force them to say we're leaving the Commonwealth? But we need the world to look at Trinidad. Trinidadians cannot get any redress, any leadership within the country. It's blocked at the top. They have $500 million to spend at election time, and they drown the country in nonsense, left foot, right foot, foolishness. Both sides last election put out full albums of Zessa songs to distract and make a mess of the national narrative and the conversation. We're not talking about the things that matter. Every time something comes up, they do everything in their power. And I tell people that the real purpose of the Candlelight movement is to dispel this notion that we are a 9-day people. We are not letting this go.
But I think you have demonstrated that unequivocally, and that is very clear. And let me tell you something. Trinidad doing quite good with this COVID thing. You know, I read this afternoon. We have 178 something like that cases or something, right? And that's very good, Philip. Very, very good. You know, I mean, other countries have thousands and thousands and then of cases. I think Trinidad is doing very, very well so far. And I don't see any reason for them to be a mass migration out of Trinidad. What they have to do...
The only reason for a mass migration out of Trinidad is people have lost hope. I want to tell you something, eh? I know all the ways to fix all the things that are wrong, you know, and we've been talking these things for over a decade now. But I have lost hope. I meet with people and speak with people at the highest level of society. We talk about our hospitals. Our hospitals are places to go to die, while billions of dollars are stolen. Contracts. People put their person to be the head of this and the head of that so that you could get contracts. There is a company that supplies appliances to the hospitals that don't change a bulb, that don't fix nothing. Everything, as it stopped working, have to change. $80,000, $90,000, $100,000.
Let me tell you something. Medicine in Trinidad is a big, big business, you know. I never realized that how bad it has become, right? It is when we got into trouble, we had an experience here, boy, right? We were taken to a nursing home. I won't tell you which one it is, right? But we were given the best treatment and everything. And when I was leaving the nursing home, I said, well, let me pay. They said, no, you don't have to pay. This is courtesy of the bunch of us. Some of them used to live in Santa Margarita, right? So I said, well, that's very nice of you. So when we got home, I said, no, we can't do that. We have to send something for them. So we sent bouquet of flowers and a nice bouquet with sweets and, you know, a bottle of brandy and all kind of thing to each one of the doctors. About 5 doctors. And I had 2 weeks later, I got a bill for $46,000.
What?
I'm telling you. So when I ring up the nursing home say, well, we are under the doctor said this is send you the bill.
And that's the truth. It is insane, and I don't know what percentage. There's nowhere to turn for the statistics to get the numbers. What percentage of the people use public health? You and your wife, if you had gone to casualty, they might have had people there with worse cases than you. I have a relative who is an internal student in the hospital. She said to me, I went on shift and saw people on benches waiting, did my shift, left, went home, come back the next day for our next shift, same people in the same clothes waiting on the same benches.
Oh God.
And we spend $5 billion. Now this is not a show about public health, but if you touch anything in Trinidad,
it all expands. Yeah, it all expands. You see, the whole thing is corruption. That's corruption.
It's straight up corruption. Everything is about corruption.
Yeah. It's gone through and through, through and through.
We are so corrupt, Vernon, that we corrupted the procurement bill designed to help stem corruption.
You want me to tell you something? I have some friends up here who wanted to go back to Trinidad, right? So one of the relatives in Trinidad made arrangements for them to go back, right? And they had to go back and stay in a hotel and all kind of shit, right? But he had to pay $15,000 for each one of them American.
Quarantine.
No, quarantine to a particular person down there.
Oh, yeah. I heard that today. Exemptions for sale.
Yes. Yeah. 15,000 US each one.
Transfer the money. I heard that today. Exemptions for sale.
Yeah. So that is where we reach, right? My God. What a hell of a thing. What a hell of a thing. And I don't know who he paid it to. I don't know, but I'm telling you, that is what I was told. And so it is corruption rampant all through the country. So when you come now and
my brother.
I saw him the other night on the television being interviewed at Fox.
Yeah. Well, he was an advisor to a former president. And he called me and he said he want to bring his family and come back home. I say, brother, it is better you go somewhere else and we come and meet you there. It don't make sense bringing anybody back here now. Trinidad is not a good place for people to be coming to. You ought to be coming from hell to come to Trinidad. And still, there are people who are trying to escape Trinidad to go to Venezuela. We bad. It bad. It really, really, really bad. And they're trying to do everything in their power. The CMO is talking about this is a spike. For them to get people to pay attention to the fact that you got 21 cases, you have to say 89% increase. Of course it's 89% increase. You're not tested, so it's 89% increase over zero. And the media is publishing your nonsense without asking you a question. But what is the percentage of the country that should have had the flu this year? Because 344 people dead from SARS. We had 141 dead from COVID-19. Nobody should die. You didn't give us the comorbidities. You didn't give us the ages. You didn't give us any information that we could use to make an informed decision as to why this might be happening. So it's so much. People just take everything. When you go on social media and you see a public official speak to the people, you look at what the public response in the comments are is embarrassing.
I saw it. I know what you're talking about. I saw it. But what is more? There are certain people in Trinidad who living high on the hog here. They're still up there. And I had occasion that somebody said to me, but so and so they live on where they have is a gated community, and they have guards at the gate, right? So I looked at, I said, but the day will come that you will have to ask who will guard the guards, right? So there was dead silence, right? But that's the kind of thing, and that is the kind of thing.
Vernon, I wanna thank you for joining us tonight. I mean, it is always enjoyable. People look for the videos when I have interviews with you and cut out clips and take it and send those individual pieces viral. People crave hearing your input, and I'm going to have you as a regular guest for as long as you'll tolerate it. We love hearing your input. I want to give you an opportunity to have your closing comments, and please take as much time as you need.
No, I'm not going to take long. What I have to say is that I have been following what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm very, very upset by it. I followed the matter of the young girl Andrea and what have you, and the other child who was found, her body was found in Ashanti and what have you. That is intolerable and unacceptable. I mean, for Trinidadians to put up with that. And I mean, every day, I read the Guardian, I get the Guardian on the internet. Every day of life, I read about another person shooting somebody. Like this morning, there was some vendor who sells roti or something. His brother or cousin or something was shot.
Source doubles. Three members of the family now.
Yes, this is unacceptable, man. And we have to get down and put our heads down and say that enough is enough. It is time to bring back the law, right? Bring back the law, but let the criminals know that you have the law there for them, like in Singapore. That's what happens, when you go into Singapore, you go in an airplane, plane about to land. The air hostess walks around, and then the captain announces, he says, ladies and gentlemen, I know that you have been asked already, but I'm asking you again. We're about to land in Singapore. If you have any marijuana or cocaine or anything like that, or any fentanyl, any narcotics, right? The hostess is passing around with the bag. Put it in the bag, please, right? And because otherwise they will arrest you, and you will go to jail and what have you and so on, right? And that is how they do it, right? Now in Trinidad we don't do that, right? And we allow people to go and do as they like and so on. And it is time that we put our foot down. This has gone on too long, and it's time we take back Trinidad and Tobago. So to all your viewers, I say good night, right? God bless you. And I hope that everything will work out for you, that we'll get a better Trinidad and Tobago, and that and then I hope to see you soon. God bless you.
Thanks a lot for that. Thanks a lot for that, my friend.
Okay. Philip, thank you very much for having me. And until we talk again,
Talk soon.
Bye-bye.
A man among men, giant in his time, Vernon de Lima, sharing his uncensored view on a lot of what is wrong with Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to try and take some of your calls. You're going to call us on 682-2110. I know Satish will put it up on the screen for you. We're also supposed to have some members of the Candlelight movement joining us, so I will see who's here. One of those two things will happen when we come back from this break. Stand by.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air-conditioned units starting at $2,100 with installation. We supply Lennox, Pioneer, Infinity, and Comfy units, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing up a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Facebook and Instagram. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters for high-quality wood and steel doors, bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, and decks. We specialize in bank counters, office furniture, cabinetry with granite countertops, and over 500 architectural molding designs. We provide complete outfitting for hotels, resorts, hospitals, banks, tertiary institutions, condominiums, and residential projects. We also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, and teak lumber locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and properly dried in our computerized kiln at our factories facilities in Trinidad. For over 32 years, our products have been standing strong, and we are committed to providing after-sales support. Visit our showroom or check out our website at www.uniquedoors-tt.com. It's the quality that makes us unique.
Welcome to Movers in Trinidad Limited, Trinidad's #1 company for professional relocation and transport services. We operate 24/7, anywhere nationwide. Don't lift a finger, or Movers will ensure your move is smooth and hassle-free. Customer satisfaction is our #1 priority. Items are properly packaged and well secured during transit. Call or WhatsApp 790-MOVE to book. That's 790-6683. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Movers in Trinidad.
I'ma make you pump like that. 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 Make you jack like that.
You guys ready? Yeah, a little bit. Just 1 minute.
My heart is hurting, it's more than a crush. Cause I'm frozen in motion and my head tells me to stop. But my heart goes bum, 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 bum. Cause my heart goes bum, 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 bum. But my heart goes bum, 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 bum. That's how I go.
And we're back. You are watching Plain Talk. I am Philip Edward Alexander. And now joining me are colleagues from the Candlelight movement, Jody Mohammed. Good evening, Jody.
Good evening. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, everyone.
Felicia Holder.
Good evening.
And Avanel Hector Joseph.
Good evening.
Everybody's exhausted and tired. I know that everybody's been working hard on this thing. Candice Barr is actually at work now. So she sends her apologies because we wanted all four of the Candlelight ladies to be here to deal with some of the issues we have to deal with tonight. So I'm just going to throw it out onto the table. It's been a busy week since we've been to Arima. What's been going on? Anybody?
I'll go first then. A lot has been going on actually. Arima was the third venue that we would have hit since we launched the national petition on March the 5th outside of Woodford Square. The week following that, we would have gone to Baraka Grounds in Central. We went to Arima last week, Friday, and now we are about to head tomorrow to San Fernando. Gosh, I wish I had the exact location. I'll pull it up on my phone.
When you say we're heading San Fernando, because I have to ask this question, in light of the Commissioner of Police's announcement today, how is that going to be handled? Because I know in Arima, we just had us, and people were able to come far away from us and line up social distance, and sign petitions and give up packages. The same thing we're doing up here?
Well, it's the same thing, yes. You come, you sign, you go. You come, you buy your t-shirt and you go. You come, you drop your petitions and you go. It's not, unfortunately, an event where you can linger around because of, and we would have made the decision since the week prior to suspend all public meetings. In fact, just allowing the committee, the 8 of us, to go to the venues, still have a live broadcast for those who can view from the comfort and safety of their home. And for persons who wanted to come in person, they would unfortunately have to distance themselves from us. And just like in a regular grocery or shop, or if you're stopping to get something at the side of the street, you buy what you have to buy, you do what you have to do, and you move on. Unfortunately, that is the conditions under which we are operating due to the COVID-19 restrictions, and we would like to abide and stay within all parameters of the law.
Arima was scheduled to be the biggest meeting to date, and that would have been thousands of people, and San Fernando has been clamoring for us to come. So what do you think this is going to do to people's hope and aspiration? Because people have vested a lot of hope now in this Candlelight movement. From the time people go out and find that petition and sign it, it means that they believe in what you're doing. It's an endorsement. Now, when I stop by establishments, because I'm trying to make up time to get packages out to people, and they are so overjoyed that you come to see them. They want to come outside and take a picture holding the thing. So what does this do now to San Fernando and South? Because they were clamoring for us to come now. Avanel.
I've been thinking about it a lot. I know that people will miss that camaraderie. There's a strong sense of community, a strong sense of hope when we are gathered, and that hope comes together. It's like combustive. So we no longer have that physical element, but we need to keep the conversation very strong and to let people know that our inability to assemble like we would have done at the Woodford Square for the vigil for the last night, for the 9 nights, or Woodford Square, or we can't say or Baraka Grounds. Why we cannot do that? We will connect via social media, via Facebook, and it means that each person who is aware of what is happening has to work extra hard to get the message out in the next couple of days. So they have to be, each of us have to now step up and keep the energy, keep the movement flowing in the absence of the first. But I don't think that anything is going to be less, like you have said, the efficacy. It's not going to be less, but we have to see what we can do to keep that consciousness out there as we go towards the 9th of April.
Yes, because everybody's disappointed. People have
Yes.
been messaging because, I mean, the demand for petitions right now are very high.
All-time high.
I don't know. Everybody's been messaging, where do I sign? We've been sending locations. I mean, but South would have been really big. So in terms of, I mean, people were really
No, I
looking
think South would
forward.
have been massive. I think
Yes.
South would have been tens, I swear, tens of thousands of people. The way the people, every time we mention that we come in South, the uproar.
Before we mentioned we were coming south, the question was, when will we come
Correct.
south?
That's right. But now, how do you deal with this? I mean, there are still different locations where we can tell people to go to in South where they can actually get the petition to sign. But I mean, in terms of, you know, the turnout, people really looking forward to meeting us and, you know, coming there and just being part of it. Yeah,
People
correct.
want to hug each other and commiserate.
Yeah.
Please, let's not say people want to hug each other.
No, but they do. There's so much pain outside
Yeah.
there. There's so much hurt. The work that you all have done, bringing these people out from the shadows. I mean, I want to talk again about Mr. Munisa and his story in Arima.
Yeah.
That has touched people on a level nobody even knew. Nobody even knew. And I'm telling you, it angered me to hear this man holding his dying daughter, begging to get her dropped to a hospital, and people saying too much blood in the car. And I'm thinking, when did we become such a hateful little head-hole?
The question is, why did we take so long
Correct.
to bring these issues to the forefront? And the fact that we did not know about Mr. Munisa and the story about his daughter is testament to how we have failed him and others like him in this country.
I think
like,
this story
we should
never
have
left me from the time I heard it, because I asked myself, you know, whenever something happens, we cannot say for sure what we'll do in a situation, but I remember saying to myself, what would be more important? Somebody's life or some blood in my car, and I can always get another car. That there's certain stories that have come through the years. It's just like, it just makes a dent in your psyche. You just
It
can't,
affects you
like
for life,
Charles,
yeah.
No, it is like your daughter get killed and your son went out to see what happened and your son get killed. Or Donamark and Carnage, lunchtime, one son get killed and you try to put cess that, and by the evening you get a next message, your next child killed. Like, how do you, like, it? Those stories, they just leave, they're not just media accounts to me.
But they never got media coverage.
That's it.
People never got that in their living rooms. I don't think people understood we were getting murder statistics like a concept. 500 for
Mr.
four.
The Munisa story was out, you know, that's how I heard about it.
I know, but I'm saying to you that how it is out now because of this.
And then we have
coming
things,
out
yes, and then
and him telling his story. What Felicia just said is a fact. I mean, we should not have taken this long. And I guess we had to chalk it up to the Andrea effect, that because of Andrea, because of Ashanti, and because of all of these things that happened, that we've gotten to a place where people want to come and tell their stories. And I think, I mean, Mrs. Barrett, Sean Luke's mom, her situation, and she messaging me today, she's trying to help another person, she's still looking out for other people. I was talking to Vernon Delima just now, we were talking about the criminal justice system. I'm saying, if your case takes 15 years to start, not only do you not have the closure that, okay, your child is there, so you're coming to terms with processing that, but you can't lock it away and make it into, this is my new place, because you also have to deal with the fact that your child was murdered, and you have to have that case, and you have to go through everything that comes with that.
You know, I think somebody would have spoken to the person, I think it was in Manzanella Mearo, who was jogging on the beach, and her remains have been in the forensics over 15 years, and her mom died without being able to do the last rite. Now, I'm not a Hindu, but I do respect the people's right to the expression of religion, as is enshrined in the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. And that closure within their context.
You don't have to preface it, but not being a Hindu.
Yeah. No, I want to say that.
I'm saying to you, that regardless of whichever religion it is, it shouldn't take that long.
No, but what I'm saying, so I might, that right is not something that I have to do, but I do understand it is important to one of my fellow citizens. And then that woman died. She died without being able to, and that grieves me as a citizen of this country, because this is something that is enshrined, and so we have a situation that we have not addressed as yet in the petition, but I would like that we could speak to it in the future. So 15 years, the remains are in some drawer somewhere in some forensic place waiting for forensic. Shade Emmanuel's father, and I'm just quoting him, saying that So when she went missing in 2018, they would have found the body in 2019. So I've been following the story, but he brought a new component to my hearing at the Baraka grounds when he said, so 2018 to 2019, she's found the piece of fabric from a skirt that they identified. So from 2019 to now, her body's at forensic. They have offered to pay for the forensic testing, and they have been denied. They also will have no closure until whenever.
No, because
and we've seen how long it can happen.
You have to have the nonsense of coroners arguing. You have to have the nonsense of coroners arguing and telling you this not working, that one overqualified, that one underqualified, we can't find the funding, we can't find the money, we can't find the man or the woman. We have excuses and explanations. You say,
so should we take the state to court to tell them, listen, release these people's remains and let, because you're holding me hostage, I can't heal. I'm almost certain in this case it's my daughter.
So the family, so tell the family that we in the Candlelight movement, we will handle the legal matter, come to us. All of those cases, I agree with you again. Let us begin the process of taking it before the courts. Now you know, that matter might take 15, 20 years.
Well, the body's staying at the forensic.
No, we're just adding a new component to their grief. Because now we're going to sue the state for failing to deal with these people and their murder. I wanted to bring up Natalie Holloway in Aruba. You all know who that is?
Of course we know her. I think
Natalie Holloway,
the world stopped for
destroyed Aruba's economy.
Yep.
For a while.
No tourism.
Natalie Holloway was murdered in Aruba, and the news media, she was an American.
I think, yes, I remember that story.
The news media in America never let it go. They never let, you could channel surf tonight and find some news story that references Natalie Holloway. And the pressure they put on the Aruba state, I mean, is phenomenal what they've done. And that's just one name. That's just one name. There was this other one, I'm trying to remember her name, where the husband was eventually found to be the person responsible. When they found him, he had dyed his hair blonde. And what was her name?
I know what you're talking about.
And then there was the one who was an aide to a congressman, and she went missing. And the story was ramping up just as 9/11 happened. And 9/11 dominated the news cycle for about 2 years. And when 9/11 died out, they brought her back up. In Trinidad and Tobago, you are a story until they don't want you to be a story no more.
Exactly. And you literally become a cold case. And I wanted to respond to what Avanel said, that she's not a Hindu, but she respects the rights. I don't even think you need to be a Hindu. You just, anybody, if you lose a loved one, you would want to be able to give them a proper send-off, because we all know funerals are for the living. It's for you to mourn.
No, I didn't
and
get the
grieve
figure
and-
that it was just a funeral. I figured that it was based on how they went in the fact of the mother. Like there was some specific
But
rights maybe
funeral-
the mother did.
No, you're right.
Funeral
So
or
from
not,
that perspective.
You're right, but you're both saying the same thing.
Exactly.
What she's saying is, because we buried my sister last year, and you want somewhere to go. You want somewhere to go and put some flowers. You want a random Sunday
Exactly.
to go and talk and say, hey, how you going? You know this hard, we're missing you. You can't.
And it
Because your
also
family
brings-
member in a draw.
It also brings closure too. There's that never-ending question of what if, or could there be, and all of these questions you're constantly asking yourself because you have not gotten the closure, and that is what parents.
It's mental abuse.
Exactly, you're literally abusing people, and worse yet, like you reminded me, Avanel, the family offered to pay. So then, what is the issue? Why are
cannot
you stopping
do
them?
anything.
Nobody
We
cares.
can't do anything in Trinidad. We can't do nothing. Every single part of it, every aspect of it, the entire thing rotten to the core. There is nothing that we could do right.
But the system
You
doesn't
cannot
have
find
failure.
a single thing. I am telling Trinidad and Tobago now, I am putting a $10,000 bounty from tonight. Find something that the government is responsible for that works, prove it to me and take that $10,000. We have to take a break to pay some bills. We're going to run some ads. When we come back, we want to take some of your phone calls on 682-2110. Over to you, Satish.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air-conditioned units starting at $2,100 with installation. We supply Lennox, Pioneer, Infinity, and Comfy units, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Facebook and Instagram. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245.
Continue to be wrestling with some glitches in our brand new studio. So we apologize if our audio leaks a little bit. As long as we don't say anything too compromising. Jody, you were going to say something before.
Yes, I wanted to say that it starts with the government. The entire system is a failure. It starts from the top. So that's why nothing works. Who cares? And people are saying now that the Candlelight movement has given them hope. We are hope for this country right now, because people are coming out with stories we never even heard about. When someone dies, you read about it today. Then you read about another person next week, the next week. So many different stories on a regular basis.
Yes,
but we forget about it because everybody forgets about it. Because they don't care. Lives don't matter. Nobody cares about people. The government does not care about people in this country. And this is why these things are happening. They don't care who dies. It does not affect them.
Hello, good evening, your live.
Yes, good evening to Mr. Alexander and to the ladies on the panel. In light of what the Commissioner of Police said with regards to vigils and marches, how is that going to impact the petition on the 9th of April, please God?
We're going to address that in a minute, on air, in depth. So we're going to address that, I promise you. Anything else you would like to say or ask before?
No, sir. For me, that's fine.
So just stay tuned, because that is something that we have to address, and that's one of the things we're addressing tonight. Thanks a lot for the call and for the question.
No problem. Excellent. Okay.
Judy, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Listen, and I need to be the last one talking politics. politics. And because people say, oh, once Philip, there's politics. So I try to stay away from talking politics. But the country is run by a management committee called the Parliament. The Parliament is assembled because 1.4 million of us, or 1.7 million of us who live here, can't go to the Red House every time something needs discussing. So we say, we'll break ourselves up into groups of 35,000 and we'll elect one person of our 35,000 and send them to speak for our 35,000. So it's 41 35,000s that meet in this place. They say, hey, the people living in Toko, they have a drainage problem. And they go Martin myself and say, yeah, but we have mosquitoes. And I mean, I've been facetious and I'm just throwing things out there. But I'm saying, that's how the country's supposed to run. Somebody's supposed to stand up and say, my constituents are complaining that the ambulance don't reach on time, the public health not working. And there's a group inside of that who have gotten the support of most of the 41 in that collection of people who represent the individual 35,000s. There's a group inside of that they've run a poll and they say, this crew, we will let them make the decisions and handle it. And that's why you have a government. That's a government job. I try to tell people at Rima, I say, no, I've been saying this forever. Trinidadians are walking around clueless, and they think government job is like, we elect you to royalty. Now go and sit down and eat cake. We've elected you to work. The campaign process is the job interview. I am supposed to ask you, what is your plan to fix our ailing public health sector? And I'm supposed to ask that of everybody. And the person who makes the most sense, I have to give them a chance. That's how it's supposed to work. We don't do that. We play at politics in this country. Our politics is not a real thing. No. So if our politics is not a real thing, how do you expect to get a real government out of that?
No, but it's true, But no, it is true, but nothing works. Okay, for instance, you go into a ministry to get something done. I went some time ago to collect something. The person's there talking on her phone. I'm sitting there, I'm the only person waiting, and I will tell you where this is. This is in the court, the magistrate court in Chaguanas. I went to collect something. I'm the only person there, and that girl is busy talking on her phone and carrying on for literally 10 minutes before she calls me.
Because you don't matter.
Of course. Well, this is why.
You don't matter.
So if this is
but
happening
I'll tell you why
in a
you
place
don't
like...
matter. I'll tell you why you don't matter. Because her job is crap.
Well, I guess
and she gets paid nonsense money.
Yeah.
And she's been taught that it is done a certain way here, and if you don't do it that way, you're going to end up outside quick. So she gets inculcated or she gets gone. And it becomes her life. And her family tell her, well, you have a government worker, so it's not safe. So hush them out, toe the line, do the work. And it just carries itself on. Until somebody with a connection in China to make we say, not what you know is who.
That's
I've been
true.
told that's
True. That is
I was told that I was small. It's not what you know is who. Because I could walk in a place and say, hey, so and so tell me that so and so. Sure. If you don't know that person, you ain't getting it. You're not getting it. We have a country set up for corruption. People are talking now. And the Minister of National Security needs to get the bottom of this. That you could pay a bribe and get an exemption. That's coming at me all of a sudden from all sides.
Of course.
Vernon de Lima, living in America, heard it.
It's $5,000.
US.
I think so, yeah.
But
I will tell you this, when you pay that money, you are not guaranteed to get the exemption. What they're going to do is they're going to put you at the top of the list. So they may choose you, but you have to pay that money if you want to get on the top of the list. And that is how it works. So
how do we find a way to corrupt even a system as applying for an exemption? How?
But the thing is, and the next thing is they're saying that the borders are closed. But if you go online, you will see that we have flights leaving every 2 weeks. We have flights going out and coming in. So if the borders are closed, how come this is still happening? But they want to shut down something like simple like the Candlelight movement, I'm just saying, right? But other people are having different things all over.
But Elby Beckles has an event coming up.
Yes.
I saw that she is allowed 50 people.
Correct.
She's allowed 50 people. We're allowed 10.
Yes.
So I don't know if it has something to do with PNM. That if you're a PNM person, you could have 50. Hello, good evening, you're alive.
Hello, good evening. Mr. Alexander, I want to ask you something.
Ask me.
Just talking about the spike in the COVID in society over the past few days, week, and so forth, right? But what I'm not understanding is how could there be an alleged COVID spike yet there is no overburdening of the nation's hospitals, especially Cora? I would think that if there was a spike, then we would hear the nurses and the doctors stating that we overburden, we don't have places to put these COVID patients. I mean, what is really going on?
Because he's talking about a spike in positive tests, not hospitalizations. They're playing smart with stupidness. It's not hospitalizations. It's COVID positives. Now, the ham in your fridge could be COVID positive, and this is not a joke. They've tested bread with this test and it come back COVID positive. The test gives more false positives than real positives, and the world knows that. The government is playing smart with stupidness, and I'll tell you why. The Candlelight movement has shifted the power in this country, and the people are believing in themselves now, and that is why. I want to take another call. You have anything else to add, my friend?
No, I'm fine there.
Thanks a lot for that. Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hi, Mr. Akran.
Good evening.
Hello?
Hi, good evening, you're live.
Yeah, I have to make a contribution. I like to make a contribution to...
US or TT?
Huh?
I'm just joking. Carry on.
Yeah. I would like to tell them it's a good job they're doing, but I believe that this government is dictatorship. There's no government in this country. People telling people how to run the country.
Thank you for that.
Under dictatorship.
Thank you for that, my friend. Thank you for that.
That is what I feel.
Thank you for that. And I want to raise this issue because I spoke about it with Gordon Bill. They tell us 141 people died in Trinidad and Tobago from COVID-19. You're supposed to say, oh, people died and run for the health. But then I tell you, how many above the age of 60? How many above the age of 70? How many above the age of 80? How many had comorbidities, heart disease, diabetes, cancer? How many were healthy, normal, 30 to 50 range, going about their business, struck by COVID and dead? They've not told us. Because if they release that information, you will realize that COVID-19 is a very serious illness that if you are aged or your immune system compromised in any way, it could throw you down and require hospitalization. And in a country where public health could be as hit and miss as this country is, you could die.
Correct.
You could be one of the 141. But it doesn't mean that the average person going into KFC tonight to buy their 5-piece and fries have a chance of getting COVID-19 because you could have had it already.
You could be asymptomatic. Asymptomatic meaning you're not going to show any symptoms. So a lot of people could have had it and you don't even know because if you're not showing symptoms, so you can spread it that way as well.
Yeah, but you're spreading it to people who will catch it. What I'm saying is, you could go and do an antibody test and find out that you had it.
Correct. Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. You could be asymptomatic and
No,
not
beyond
showing
asymptomatic.
Yeah.
I'm talking about had it, over it, and gone.
Okay.
You could have had it and never know.
Yeah, that's
But
what,
Phil,
yeah,
you've
that's,
heard
what,
about
that's what I'm
people-
saying. That's what I'm saying.
We've
could
heard
have-
about people seeing
No,
that.
correct.
that's what they say.
That's why I say
Asymptomatic.
that's why you call it asymptomatic, where you don't show any symptoms. So I
People
could
have
had
been
it, you
saying
could have
that
had it.
last year they had and they felt like they had a cold. No, especially coming down to the end of 2019
19 into 2020.
into 2020. A lot of people were saying that they had some kind of sickness and they thought it was a common flu or something and they didn't know and they
The
got
numbers
over it.
the numbers I want, a year has passed, March to March. These are the numbers I
The
want.
breakdown of who.
No. Beyond COVID. I want the numbers of all the other sicknesses, viruses, diseases we would have had traditionally, that now that we've interrupted public contact, we have masks, we're sanitizing and washing everywhere, all numbers should be done.
Sure.
All numbers should be done. A comedian said in America, and I'll never forget, he said, this is a disease that is so bad, you have to take a test to know if you have it.
It is so contagious and everything all the way in the back of your nose.
Let me say
I
that's
never
very
understood
painful.
that
That's very
though.
painful. they tested my daughter, and I mean she's 2, and she cried because it's this big swab that they're actually putting it down inside. They're turning it, so they turn it like 3 times, and she started.
But they don't do that again, you know. They test just inside your nose because that was all of that was overdone and drama.
Overdone.
It was just drama. We were dramatizing everything.
This was just.
They needed it to be bad. They wanted to tell it the second wave. When I went outside the Prime Minister's residence and I asked Terence the answer, where the second wave supposed to come from? If we locked down 3 months now and the borders closed, where? But where?
Yeah.
Where it's supposed to come from? Where?
It's coming from the Candlelight movement now. That's where it's coming from.
They can't say one.
Well,
92 police
No,
officers.
they are
You know
blaming
what?
us now.
Jody, you know what amazed me? That people had told me weeks before that same central division, that there were people that were COVID positive, and it took over a week for the country to find out. So those police officers was out and about infecting people.
Well, I heard there was a branch, a food restaurant, I can't call the name, in Central that had it, the manager, and they opened the next day. It's normal.
But I want to ask this. This is the kind of information now, constitutionally, we are entitled to. We're entitled to it. We've run a year, and we've managed it. The world has managed it, you know.
Yeah.
Because no matter, there are countries that did nonsense. Italy did pure nonsense, and Spain, early in the game. Italy, with their direct line to
China.
Yeah, what's the name of the place?
Wuhan.
Wuhan. What the world didn't know was that to get around the made in China badge that was bad for European goods, you didn't want your Gucci saying made in China. So what China and Italy did was create a China inside of Italy. And there were direct flights from Wuhan to this part in Italy where all these Chinese workers came to essentially make in China, in Italy, all of these European goods and brands. And the mayor of that town, when the world found out early in 2020, I talk about early, when the world found out that it was coming out of China, and Trump, because you want to overcorrect from Trump and you say it's xenophobia, the clown of a mayor launched a program in Italy called Hug a Chinese Person Today. And people were randomly, that was a fact, early in the game, in a country in Italy.
And that's when it exploded.
When it exploded, it killed elderly people. Because you outside there, being all modern and Gen X, and you're hugging all the Chinese people who may or may not have it, in a community where mommy, daddy, granny, grandpa, great-grandpa living in the same house.
I've been to Italy, and it's very small places. They don't have places to wash their hands.
And they have a very aged population.
Yes.
Run through. And high in that demographic, we got all the information now. In that community, high smokers, plenty smokers. So your lungs compromised already. There is a reason they don't give you the information. Because if they gave you the information about the people that died, you'd realize how much nonsense this is. I'm not saying it is not, and I don't know. But for a long time, I was willing to err on the side of caution. Yeah. But I believe herd immunity is what we need to be going for. It's not my job. I am not the CMO. I am not the Minister of Health. But I don't think our CMO or our Minister of Health know what they're doing. I don't believe that. I want to know what is your testing statistics for you to come and all of a sudden have an 89% spike as 21 people. So we have 121 people with COVID-19. Tell us how many are in hospital. Because if you have COVID-19, but it is not bad enough for you to require medical intervention, you just have the cold. And it really is that.
Yeah.
Because hundreds of millions of people have had it and survived. Go on worldodometer.com.
And you see,
And you see over the year how many people got it and what percentage succumbed. And it is 99.9 something percent that just live to fight another day.
I think there was a lot of, because there wasn't much information, I think again in a call.
Hello, good evening, you're live.
Yeah, hello, good night.
Yes.
Can I get to talk to you for a few minutes, sir?
You're live on air, my friend.
Okay.
So you can call back after the show. Send me a WhatsApp with the information, I'll call you after the show.
Okay, then I'll call you back after the show. What time is the show finishing?
About half an hour.
Alright, I'll call you back.
he didn't just start talking his mama. But, and if you call, say where you're calling from, and please limit the call to under 2 minutes. But people are asking, what do we do about the walk on April 9th? Now, I have a position, and I just want to put my position out. I believe the Commissioner of Police, Gary Griffith, doesn't make ill thought out statements. I know he working with the numbers and the statistics that are being given to him by the state. So I have to be guided by that and by that. Regardless of how I feel about those numbers, he has a job to do. So, 9th of April is a little over 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So we're going to monitor and see if the CMO statistics keep spiking, or if this is an anomaly in Central because they didn't deal with it fast enough. And we will be guided. It could become nothing and it peter off and we get to go on our walk. We're sending our requests to the Commissioner, and I'm sure he will be guided as well. But I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago this. It can't go on forever. And even if we go into a lockdown, we will send out more and more petition sheets. It'll give us more time. We'll go from 200,000 to 1 million people. We will aim at 500,000 as the numbers. It's not going to stop.
I think that's the important part about this for all the people who are asking, what are we going to do if, now that the Commissioner has made this announcement. I agree with you, Philip. I think it only gives us more time to get more signatures, because everywhere I go, I mean, we have, I think, well over 1,000 people, more than that actually, have in their possession. The last time we did a count, it was over 1,000, closing on 2,000, actually physically have petition packages and petition sheets.
And they are copying.
And we initially printed 100,000. Because that's what we were aiming for. We got an additional, I believe, 50,000 of ours. And then people took and photocopied on their own. So I believe that we are going to...
Jones Animal Clinic in Marabal, they're doing all their sheets. They only got one sheet.
And they would have copied.
And there are many people who that is their story.
Exactly.
That somebody got a package and they gave a friend and a family.
And they made their copies. So if, God forbid, we're not allowed to have our walk and motorcade on April 9th, and I'm being very positive by saying I believe that we will be able to have the walk. God forbid we can't. We just, like you say, use the time to get more signatures. When I said I want to see 1 million signatures, I was not joking, because I believe that we can do it.
Hello, good evening, you're live.
Oh, hello. This is Christine from England. How are you?
We're good. How are you going?
I'm very good. So I'm watching Plain Talk. I just want to say about the COVID. We have to be very mindful and careful in Trinidad. You know, the people that we're seeing with high rates, the higher death rates in the UK are people of BAME background, Black, Asian, minority, ethnic groups. And that is the majority of Trinidad, and people are not in the best of health. So I believe that we still have to be careful and cautious. It's not just a bad flu.
Okay, but Christine, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
In February to March, at the height of its introduction and transmission, we put 75,000 almost naked people to grind up on each other. And we didn't have mass deaths among our African and Asian groups. Why do you think that might be so?
I really don't know.
That's my point. A year later, and I agree with you for wanting to be cautious. I have aged and one of my parents infirm, so I am very cautious about what I do when it comes to them. In fact, for the first lockdown, my parents wouldn't open the door.
You literally had them locked down?
No, they wouldn't open the door. We had to go and drop food for them. They put a table in the garage, and we would drop the groceries on the table and leave. And then they'd come out, sanitize everything, because my mother, she just took everything they were saying to heart. But Christine, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree with everything that you just said, but I also want to say that a year has passed, and Trinidadians are the most irresponsible people. We've had COVID parties, They've arrested whole feds of people with prostitutes. We've had engagement parties down the islands. We've had 2 elections where the government and the opposition didn't care. There were tens of thousands of people. Again, our election is like a carnival, a little more close, still plenty grinding and whining. People didn't die. Our 141 deaths, and I am saying to you with an abundance of respect, if we get the statistic, the statistical breakdown, that 141 people, I am willing to bet 90% of them comorbidities and infirm, aged.
Well, exactly, but we don't have the figures because the government doesn't share that with us. We just don't know. They don't tell us anything.
Agreed.
But
no, you're
what
right.
I can say,
I'm not downplaying it. I'm just saying we have to have a conversation. Yeah. We can't continue to be running to the hills, holding our heads and bawling. A year has passed. We have to look back on that year and say, the people who spent money putting up sinks and taps and water running and soap and things, slowly but surely you're going back to the same place. And the sinks are down, the taps are down, and they're putting in a little sanitizer and please sanitize your hand. We overreact and then...
I mean, there are some scientists here who are saying that we may have to live with COVID for the rest of our lives. I mean, it may not be as bad as it is now, but we may just have to live with it.
Christine, we live with herpes. Every Trinidadian, everybody in the world who gets chicken pox has a strain of herpes in their body for the rest of their lives and could develop shingles in their aged lives. We've learned to live with all manner of things. Coronavirus, different versions of the coronavirus here since biblical times. So I think COVID-19, this whole overreaction, and history will record this, because they dropped the ball on, was it SARS or the one before? H1N1. They dropped the ball on one of those 2 and got some fatalities. They overcorrected for COVID-19. Again, there is a demographic. I am half Syrian. And if a flu or a virus come out that killing half Syrians, I will lock myself in my house so that you can't interact with me and give it to me. Because I'm half Syrian, I fall into the demographic. You understand what I'm saying? But I don't want all of the Asians and the Africans and the Chinese to have to lock themselves down too, if it's not targeting them. And I'm saying the government has a responsibility now, and they're being criminally irresponsible by not giving us the statistical demographic breakdown of all the people who died.
And just one last point before I go. I want to commend the Candlelight movement. You guys are doing a great job. I have lived abroad, as you know, for a very long time, and I have lived at home, in the last 32 years. So if I was there, I would be in the fight, but I'm not. So, I mean...
Where are you located, Christine?
Well, I'm in London. When I first joined PEP, I was in New York, but then I moved back to England, so I'm back in England now.
But we have a team, Candlelight Movement has a team in the UK. You're part of that at all?
No, I haven't.
So you should be
I don't even know who is in charge of it.
Well, right,
I mean, my friend's restaurant, Lining, he's responsible for getting the petitions and things like that.
If you want, after you come off the phone, just shoot me a WhatsApp. I'll forward it to Felicia, and she'll get in contact with the person in charge to you. Yeah?
But Christine, you might know the person, Nisha Paul.
I don't. Funny enough, I don't.
Well, shoot me a WhatsApp.
All right,
get
I'll forward that to you.
Contact info to you. Yeah?
Okay. All right, cool.
Christine.
All right, take care. Bye.
If we continue to spike, 7 become 21, 21 become 30, 30 become 50, 50 become 100. God forbid. But you see, again, Abner, if these are not hospitalizable positives, they're just positives. A child will get the flu and have a runny nose and a bad experience. An old person will get that same flu and die. Has to do with your immune system and your ability to deal with it. I think that we're at a point now in the world where we have to stop all the censorship and all of the wildness and start to deal with this happened. Let's talk about what's happened. Tell me we have to learn to live with COVID. We have to live with everything. We have to live with AIDS. We're living with AIDS. 25 million people have died from AIDS since we got AIDS. We've been living with AIDS.
True.
Yeah?
Very true.
So I don't think that we need to live with COVID with masks and sanitizers. I think that's overcorrection. Again, there's a demographic, and people know if their system's compromised. That's my position. I'm not saying I'm speaking for anybody. I'm just saying that we have to get to a point. Because if we have to
You recognize that you're not a medical person. You know that you're not medical person.
I'm not, but I get, when I go home, 50 emails from one of the most knowledgeable epidemiologists in the world, my brother.
I was going to tell her who happens to be your brother.
Anyway, but back to this issue about the walk on the 9th. Because the demand for petitions is at an all-time high.
Yep. It is.
I stopped in Candlelight because I was on admission in Diego Martin in the West. And by 3 bars, because I'm looking for places, right? And I walk in this bar to give them, and the lady said, I can't make it to the boss, not here, the bar across the street calling me. They wanted it. They wanted it. So sign them and give them it. And that's Zyro's bar in Carolina, Point Commander. And today, I go to a gym in Diego Martin, take a little workout, fitness center, and I asked the father, I said, would you all like to have the petition? They call the owner, and she put me on the phone and said, so yeah, we here with the petition. She said, sure, give it to them, make sure that no long talk. People want it, you know, and I think that is a very positive sign that we've broken this 9-day wonder thing.
I honestly have not met anybody who read the petition, even if they didn't know what it was about. But I haven't met anybody who read and learned what it was about and refused to sign it. I haven't even gotten the question, is this political? You know, normally people say it is a political. I didn't even get that. People read the 5 things that we're asking for, and they are immediately open to signing it. And I think it's actually amazing to me that this has never been done. And
no, they've done this before. They've done this before.
Keith Noel Committee did it.
Keith Noel did it. And I remember when we had our first meeting, we were looking at
when was that? Sorry if you know.
That was
like before I was born?
Yeah, that would have been before 2010.
Before 2010.
Yeah, so between somewhere between 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And this was a national petition.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Not yeah, but it led to it was because of Keith Noel's
murder.
Who was an employee of Stephen Keyes.
Well,
and they got 100,000 signatures actually.
They got 100,000.
And anything came out of it?
No, they didn't get 100,000.
You didn't?
Heard somebody say 100.
Well, then I say this with confidence. This has never been done, to my knowledge, before, to this level that it's been. It's being done.
Keith Noel petition didn't reach Cedros and Maruga and Toko and all of that.
And that's it. Anyway, let's take this one.
And of course, we have social media on our side, which is
you have social media on our side.
Hello, good evening, you're live.
Hey, Mr. Philip. My name is Ramdas.
Good evening.
I'm calling from New York.
Good evening.
I don't know how to get to somebody who is located in New York to do the signing of the petition.
Send me a WhatsApp to this number when you come up the call. Felicia will give you Denise Avi's contact info.
He doesn't want to.
Where the person is located in New York?
In Brooklyn, New York, but I have a number here if you want to take it. 347-500.
Okay, give me 1 second, let me write that down.
Sure, no problem. I just want to be as helpful as I can as he's on the phone.
Satisha, you can type this in there. Do you have a ticket tape?
What's that?
No.
See, producer was just like, hi, yes.
Stand by for the number. You ready to take it?
Yes, I'm ready to take it.
It's 347.
Right.
500.
500.
1457.
1457.
Yes, and that number takes you to Denise Xavier. She's the person coordinating the petitions in New York for us.
And if you have any difficulty, you can always just shoot me a WhatsApp and I'll make sure you get hooked up on time.
That's 500-1157.
1457.
Oh, 1457. Okay. Philip, I have to say one thing to you, my friend. You're doing a great job. I follow you every single day. All your blogs, all your comments, all your It's been a long time I've been looking at you on social media, and you're doing a great job. My hand went out to. My hand went out to. What's that?
I says a good strong team. I'm just the noisy mouth in front.
Yeah, I know that. I've been looking at your programs for a long time, and you guys doing a really good job, and I must commend you guys for.
Thanks a lot. I still want you to send me a WhatsApp off air so that we can talk to someone, bring you on board. Yeah.
No problem, my friend.
Thanks a lot, my friend. Have a good evening.
You too.
Judy, all your fans watching and want to know why you're so quiet. You're a busy day.
Who, me? Yeah, my allergies have been acting up a lot today, actually.
Tell your people we need some more clipboards. Judy gets us clipboards. She gets us envelopes. Manila envelopes.
She's the queen of begging on this team.
If you've got a package, chances are Inshan got the printing. Judy
got the envelopes and the pens. And
Satish did the database. He and Sean Sunarayan made sure that it got labeled and sent to you. And Paul Nahus and his squad, Sandra and others, made it happen. It's really a big and vibrant team. Today we in the office, Stefan dropped by. We're working on some stuff that we're trying to organize. Felicia come and show us Avanel down in St. James. I just came to pick up 20 packages to go downtown. And then Stefan come and then just take over the whole evening. But to all the people downtown who knew I was coming today, I'm going to come tomorrow. I'm going to bring those packages for you all. Yeah, Judy, call out to people. Hey, you get water today? Or?
Yeah, I'm organizing water as well.
How much cases again?
But I'm not sure. They asked me how much. I said, well, as many
we got
cases
100
as
cases
possible.
from the last person. And I'm going to ask that person, because I know he's watching. Yeah, besides hers, because we always need it. And when we eventually do get to walk, it'll be plenty people.
I think it's going to be big, because even a listener of mine messaged me yesterday and she said, Judy, I'm organizing my crew, maybe on 5 or 6 cars. So I want people to come out. I mean, for me personally, I think trainees are very lazy. And I will tell you this, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I just think that they want to. Okay, I know. Okay, if you want to say laid back, right? Because they want to get.
Right on the trend, but the hell wrong with this woman.
No, because they want to. Because they want to get things done, but they don't want to work for it. Because that's how everything in this country has been working for years. That's like, what do you say, a way of life? That's how we operate here. We're too laid back.
But do you think that though? And I'm just putting this out there because I mean, as defense trainees on this. Do you think that it was just a case of hopelessness, and now that finally they see something that they feel could make a difference, they're jumping out?
I think so, because a lot of people have said to me that the Candlelight movement has given them hope, and that's why I was saying that earlier, and that's why so many stories are coming out now, because so many people live with this.
And as we said, we've been using the word, and not to be cliche, but it is what it is. This is the tipping point. It's like,
yes,
it's like have your foot on your neck, and you just can't trying to get accustomed, and then you realize I'm not really breathing well, and this is not how I was made to function. It's just like,
yes,
and so I think people are just like, oh God, we can't take no more. Like, how much more?
You become a superstar with this kind of thing. People messaging me, when next I see an Amanel, they like you on that stage.
That's true, she's powerful.
She's channeled something.
Yeah. My aunt from Canada messaged me. She lives in Montreal, and she said, I love her. She's so powerful.
Yeah. Channel something. I tell you, you can call her out to call, but no, we don't call her. Yeah. You can call her out to call. You're holding me.
No, but at the end of the day, like I was saying, we have given people hope. Because so many people lost their kids, lost their wives, and for the years just went by and nothing was done about it.
Let me read something.
No justice.
Today.
You don't get justice.
Let me tell you what somebody's stories in this beautiful country. I'm not gonna people. I don't call it a rat hole. I don't call it anything, because I speak well. Because as a Christian, I want to believe that God, especially in this season, God will do something really great in this nation.
What in your sandwich? You have pepper in your sandwich? It's hot. My mouth burning, but I ain't gonna call it pepper sauce.
Same mouth is, you need help. But this woman, our team went to help today. it's crazy. This is people's reality. I can't find this story on my phone, but her brother was killed. And then some other time after, the next family member, brother was killed. By the same person. What? So like, I'm telling you, I just like, is this thing real? It's like, you know, you've been reading these stories and you're being out there and you're hearing these things and it's like, it's some kind of Lifetime movie. Is it a horror story? No, it's the life of people in Trinidad and Tobago who have had to deal with multiple members of their family getting killed. But we don't want to talk about Lavender, where that mothers with three, or Caroni, where this mother lost 2 sons or 3 sons. And you're like, oh man, that's her second son. Oh my God, you know? So these, everything just get like normal now. Like, as I just say, normal.
You know,
no, it's abnormal.
I hate this shaming idea when a mother is grieving her dead child and we are shaming her. We are shaming and telling her, yeah, he was a good boy. That nasty statement. We've become a people that every man that gets shot like that is a gang member.
Of course.
And every woman that goes missing,
she
goes for a man.
Correct.
Other thing too, for the little children, the little girls who run away from home, and the nasty remarks that people put under those girls when they go missing and run away and whatever it is. I'm like thinking in my little simple mind, like I'm in this like really perfect home with loving parents. It's not dysfunction. I just get up and run away like that. You know, it's just like that. Obviously, something will be wrong with me for me to do that. And I'm not saying that there aren't those situations where people, they say good girls gone wrong or whatever it is. I'm not saying that there are not homes where it's good and the children probably too strict or whatever. But we have to begin to put systems in place. Over the years, we've seen an increasing amount of young ladies, young girls, young boys running away from home.
What was the statistics? Give me the statistics. Tell me.
They come back to run away again.
How many of them?
Why are they
running
doing that?
away because mommy have a new husband and he interfered with the girl too.
And mommy wanted to stay silent because that's the bread and butter.
Correct. That's exactly.
So all those things are going on, and social development and management in the country gets practically no budget. We treat it like the bastard child of ministries. I think the person who's made the social development minister is either, look, you either sweep the yard or you're social development minister. Which one do you want? Because we don't treat it like it matters, and I've had to tell people over and over, the most important ministry in the country is social development and management. Because without the people, this is a beautiful rock with animals and trees, no humans making a mess. You need to manage your social capital in the country. National security and law enforcement is a function of social development and management. Education is a function of social development and management. Healthcare is a function of social development and management. I'm trying to get people to understand. Those ministries should be sub-ministries under a master ministry. Because if you don't have education working in tandem with national security, you will create a classroom to jail cell pipeline like we have. We have, of the 20,000 children that do SEA every year, by the time that class reaches CXC, it's 13,000. 7,000 are missing. Over the 5 years, they've gone. And of those 13,000, a large percentage fails, come away with nothing. Not even the chicken and chip store taking you with nothing. You had to have something. So what are these people supposed to become?
Voter banks. For the tribes. Voter banks, that's what they are.
We're getting messages that when we are on a break, people are hearing. So, and that is Dave Lux. Dave Lux is a very strong member of the team, and he's just pointing that out. I want Dave to know. Thank you, Dave. Satish gave us that knowing nod of his head that says he's addressed it. So that's been addressed. So to Trinidad and Tobago, with regards, and we all heard this today, but we weren't able to gather the forces together for a meeting. We have a call here. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, calling from Tribunas, and I really want to say hats off to you guys and to encourage you all, Judy, Felicia, Avanel, and Mr. Alexander. Encourage you all to be strong.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Continue to be strong. The race is not for the swiftest, but for those who endure. And it may seem a little difficult now. I can tell you a lot of people still have not heard of the Candlelight movement. We are doing what we are doing in Central, but I guarantee all of us who have took this stand and by God's grace is running this race, the difference is going to come. Good things come to those who wait. And Philip, I want to especially encourage you as the leader of what we would say is the silver lining amongst the dark clouds. Wait, my brother, it is coming. For those who feel hopeless, it is going to change. Change is coming. And if we continue to have faith, trust God, trust ourselves, there is so much that has gone wrong. And Philip would say all the time that, this is not a country, but I declare it is a country. It is one that we are proud of, and by the grace of God,
Amen.
as Dr. Angel would say, we will continue to speak the good over this land.
Yes.
And all those corrupted persons in leadership position, ministers of government, they're going to come down. The word of God says that when our leaders are corrupted or evil mind, the people suffer. The people are suffering. But like you all are sharing, because it has become a norm, because we have been so boxed in and accustomed to this suffering, it has now become normal. But the light has started to shine. And with a moment of time, the scripture says there is time and there is season. There is nothing new under the sun. But I guarantee us, especially for those of you who are working hard, keep it up. Keep moving. Do not pedal back. Keep going forward. We're going to get there. Trinidad and Tobago is going to change. It's going to become what we have been praying and asking for it to become. Because I believe over everything else that this is the time and this is the season for change to come. God bless you all. Continue to be safe. Continue to be strong. And know that we have the victory through Christ Jesus.
Gotta say amen. You're talking about me for the altar call. That was the altar call.
That was an altar call. Thank you very much for
but
that.
Those calls are important.
I want to tell you something. The Andrea effect. I want to just touch on that. Robert Ashley Steele is a Trinidadian. He's not in Trinidad right now. But he's a guy that I've known, I guess, for more than 27, 28 years. And Robert Ashley Steele, every now and then, would pop out from wherever he is in the world and give me a comment. And sometimes when things feel most hopeless, or I'm attacked and I may respond in kind, Robert might shoot me a little message, a little encouragement, and he does that so well. And I had to tell him today, I said, you know what? I need more people like you speaking that to me. I've wanted to get people to face the reality. I wanted them to see it for what it really is. Remove the illusion and look at what it is. You are absolutely right. We have to call what we want. We have to call this country for what we want. And I think they're both right too, that we get to a place now where we are reaching people. I don't know where it's going to go.
I think that the fact that the people have responded is because there's an acknowledgement that what is not what it's supposed to be. And so now we've already established that what is not what it's supposed to be. It is also not what we want. It's not what we are going to embrace as normal. And then we have carved a concept of beginning that journey towards hope. And then our conversation must come in alignment with the vision that we want to see. How do we see Trinidad? What is it Trinidad that I want my 4-year-old son to do? You want your 2-year-old, your 16-year-old, your nieces. I have tons of nieces and nephews, you know, and I want to leave some kind of thing for them. What do I want? What is the Trinidad I want to see for them in its simplest form? Going to the hospital, and somebody have to, you don't have to know the head nurse or the doctor to get something. That is the Trinidad I see. How do we carve that in what kind of education the simplest form, what their classrooms look like?
You can't get around that without politics, right?
I was just about to say that.
We
but
have
it starts from the top,
When you say it, and I tell people, when people ask me, what would tell you that Trinidad is no longer a failed state? I say when we could cut out the burglar bars, and when we could hear that 2 o'clock in the morning, Canadians line up outside the Trinidad embassy in Canada to get a visa to come here. Because the opposite has gone on for so long. I remember there was a time people used to have to go and sleep on the pavement in South to get a visa.
Correct.
No, I remember in 1988, it was December, the first time that Trinidadians needed to get that visa, because it was a sudden change and people are ready, and because we did not, pre-88, we didn't need visas to go to Canada.
Correct.
And there was a little bit of, well, I'm not going to get into that.
We were fleeing the country.
And that's why they bought
it was sudden, and those people already bought their tickets to travel for Christmas, and the only way that so I used to go to church on South Key, and I literally got up on Sunday morning to go to church, and there was like this whole throng of people around the furnace building or whatever building that is down there. I don't think the furnace. Straight on South Key. I was like, what's going on here? I was like, what's going on with the Canadian embassy? You're too young to know that. It used to be an independent square. Right, well, it was one of those old time building business names, you know. And right, I don't want to say those kind of things for them, but old money.
That's our history. That's what we are.
Yeah, okay. You have to be very careful because we're very sensitive people. We all know it's not old money. We all know it's either the Portuguese or the French people. It's like, look what you're talking. So for the sake, So I was like, what is happening here? I said, because some of our trainees, they found a clause in the people's immigration law. They went to flee as refugees and sought asylum. And the Canadians imposing.
That's not it. We had a prime minister who wrote to Canada and asked them, because Canada would have taken all 1.2 million of us at that time and would not have known that they had us. I'll tell you why. Canada had 44 million people in Canada, 300 million people in America. And Canada could hold America twice. Okay? So
physical space, because they have economically supported us. And Felicia is thinking, why are they talking about this?
No, I'm just thinking I have to go.
So
it's past 10 o'clock.
With that, we all have days and lives tomorrow. We let the show go on because, we started late because of glitches. Tonight has been glitches from hell. And we're working on getting all of that fixed, which brings me to this. Help us get glitch free. Advertise with us. We need money. Satish Ramsaran and his team does such amazing work. I mean, you wouldn't believe what they've built, what we have on Fishes and Loaves. But we need your help to do better, to do more. And if you would like to advertise with us or get involved in any way on this show, we're going to start to do product placements. Somebody said anything that I endorse on one of those lives, people's going to buy it all out. So I will bring that to an availability.
Really, I have a whole food fiesta going on this weekend to raise funds. Okay. Friday evening we've got jerk. Saturday evening we got pasta. Sunday we have lunch.
Social distancing.
Right. Curbside right there, 47 Bombay Street. Monday evening we have bacon shacks, from the best bacon shacks you say. And Monday you can ever have.
So you will WhatsApp me that menu?
Yes.
So you know WhatsApp me that menu and I will put it out in the public
again,
space.
because of failed system, we have lots of persons in this country, Philip, who are homeless, sleeping there. 2 nights when we left the Woodford Square, I got a call from a police officer. There's a mother on the promenade with 3 young girls. And we had to, and that is the calls we get everything. The reason I came in tonight, because why? Working on an extraction to get somebody into a safe house, and there is no room So we don't just tell people to choose their mates properly. We look at the fact that because some bad choices have already
And they
been
have
made,
some good
how
people.
do we deal with
They have
it?
some good people. Besides having elected Joseph, and is there not a cause on her crew? They have people like Gregory Sloan-Seal and Roxanne Palmer
plenty good people doing stuff.
and involved in victim and witness protection.
Protection.
We know that there are a lot of good people in this country fighting hard and working hard to rescue people. My problem is, why do so many of our people need rescuing in the first place? We need to get to a place where we have this, but let's not go down that political route. In regards to the walk in the march, the team going to have a meeting sometime over this weekend here. I guess we're all going to be in San Fernando, but we can't have you as a crowd in a gathering. If you want to come and bring your petition sheets, there are people who messaging me and saying, I have 50 sheets, I have 100 sheets, and they're all filled out, I want to bring them back and get some more, come. But you're coming, you're doing that transaction, and you're leaving, and you're socially distancing.
And I miss that time because, meeting all the people for the last couple of events and vigil has just been just amazing.
That's the best thing. That's the best thing.
Hearing some people's stories,
I love that the doctor said, and she called all the ways that this little spike started, and none of it was any vigils or any marches or anything. So whatever they did, please undo it, fix all their business, fix all yourself, because they're getting in the way of the people's business. And the people's business is the Candlelight movement. You wanted to add something, Joe?
No, she kind of threw me off.
Me?
Yes,
Oh.
no, just listening to you. No, but I mean, when you talk about the petition, I mean, it's not going to stop us anyway. People are worried that, they can't stop us because we're not going to stop. The petition is going to be out there. It's all over. People are signing it so they can see what's going on. We are hope for the people. The bottom line is we are hope.
And when I say we being
the Candlelight
we being
movement,
the gel to bring the people, so the
Wider
collective,
movement,
right?
there's a
Correct.
movement now.
The movement is not just these 8 people that you will see, 4 ladies and 4 men in
No,
charge.
but we work here at it,
Like-
and also, if you want to join at this level, because at this level, the work is a verb. So if you want to join at this level, it's not just about the accolades of saying, I involved in something. It's a full-time work, all of us doing. So, but if you have the time, the ability, the resources, Felicia's number is 7694590. She's accustomed to me giving it out like that, 7694590. She is the go-to person. She's in charge of that. She fields all the calls, gets us coordinated. She has the team and staff. So if you check out, we also have 2 phones, 486-2888, 471-2888. You call those numbers. She's proud, I remember that. And your closing comments, ma'am, as you have to leave.
All I have to add is tomorrow, which is my camera. That camera tomorrow, we are in San. I was supposed to pull up the location. Philip will remind us.
I
think
will.
Satish
Let me
probably
get
put
it now.
up on the ticket tape if he felt like putting up the ticket tape.
Satish, did we get a ticket?
But
no ticket tape.
okay, well,
So
it's
we
on.
need money to hire a better producer.
It's on our Candlelight page. It's on this feed that is being broadcasted to you right now. We will be in San Fernando, right on SSL car park, corner of Sutton and Gomez Streets. SSL car park, corner of Sutton and Gomez Streets, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's the time that we will be there tomorrow. So please come sign your petition. T-shirts. People have been asking me for T-shirts as we are nearing the dates that we are going to be delivering these petitions to Parliament. We are no longer ordering new batches of T-shirts. So whatever we have in stock right now is going to be the last stock. So we have just a little over 150 T-shirts left in stock. Whatever we have, please come. Don't miss out your opportunity to get yours. Your Candlelight Movement T-shirt. Avenel is wearing one. We have in pink, white, and very limited stock in black.
Actually, we used that before. Sorry.
Very limited stock in black. No, I have no patience tonight. And for everybody who has been asking, I just want to address some things. No housekeeping. No, you cannot, absolutely cannot sign for another family member. Please, I appreciate that you want to add to the signatures, but that is. Go ahead.
Stefan Rees asked, and he suggested, and if you want, please, because we put it together, a database of people that we can reach out to easily. If you want to, legibly, put your telephone number next to your name and signature. We will add you to that database so that we could contact you in case we're having some sort of event or something that we want to get to you directly. So I just wanted to add that.
Yes, so you can't sign for somebody else. You cannot sign twice. So don't go signing in a REMA if you signed last week and then come sign in San Fernando. Again, it's just going to make the process even more confusing and harder. And it's 100,000 that we sent out and expecting 3 times that back. So please don't give us any additional work. Don't forget the deadline is April the 2nd to get your petitions in. Don't wait until April 1st and 2nd. Of course, trying to get it in before that. We have several drop-off points and are adding more drop-off points and pick-up locations every day. Please, for all information, stay tuned to the Candlelight Movement page. We have all of the locations that you can drop off and pick up petitions there too. And for those who are joining us tomorrow, see you in San Fran. That's me. Bye.
I just want to remind everyone that, people I've noticed some of the petitions that they're scribbling, they're just doing a signature, so we don't know who signed it. Now, we are not making your signature, your name public. Everybody has signed, some people don't
why
want
is
it.
why is the signature not valid?
No, well, some of these signatures, you can't even understand what they wrote. That's fine, because I know we were asking
Somebody asked if they have to put their name in block letters. I said no. Some people are not comfortable with it, and they just want.
You
and you
don't have to, because I know originally.
So yeah, somebody did a thumbprint.
You can do that as well.
Somebody did that as well.
You can.
There are people who don't know how to sign.
And no, we do not have this petition available online, and I'm not going to address this again. It takes some effort, and that's the last thing I want to say. Somebody messaged me asking where is the petition located in Central, and I gave them about 8 different locations in Central, and then that person proceeded to ask me, is there anywhere closer? Guys,
Find the petition.
Sign the petition.
Sign
the petition.
Last time when I put out Joe's Pizza in 4 Roads, somebody messaged me from Rich Plate and said this bar that had it, all the finish and all the petitions went back. So he said, are they coming back to the bar? I said, well, come to Joe's.
I
know.
know.
And small. How far is that?
And
that
is what I want to say, guys. This is going to take a little bit of effort. Yeah. It may mean somebody told me he has not left his house.
No, that's when she said people lazy. People want to be lying down on the couch.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And you come in there with the petition.
I think so. I will do that for somebody who's disabled and can't walk though. And I plan to do that actually for a lady who told me she can't leave her home but she wants to sign. But that's for those who are able-bodied, can't walk, get your asses up off of your kitchen chair or your couch. Yes, get off of your ass and find yourself to the nearest petition.
She's talking about the animal.
When she's tired, we need to tell her to go.
Listen, I get cracked. Don't take off my mic. I am saying something very important here. Get up. Get up of your behind and please make that little effort, that extra effort. My ride is here. That extra effort. Listen, people have to go home. That extra effort to get the petition signed. Please, for many of you, this may be your only involvement in the movement. Some of you, I know you cannot come out. So if you can sign, find and sign that petition.
Julie was in the middle of her closing.
She was. No, that's the way of doing their part. You want to sign, and I've had people sending me their locations to come to their home.
A station.
To do this. I said, but I can't do that. But if you are in Port of Spain, yes, he went to buy roti.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
listening right now.
Big up to the Toronto team. Y'all are doing an amazing job.
I think it's Vishnu's. He said, you know what? Because he messaged me. Well, he can't come to Trinidad, obviously, so he's stuck across there. But he is a Canadian citizen, and he said, I have to tell you something. I said, what? He said, I sent you a photo. I went into Vishnu's. Is it Vishnu's roti shop? And I saw this, and he said, I have to go back and talk to the owner.
Yes. Vishnu's roti shop.
So he said he wants to. I sent him the petition. So he said he wants to print it and take it to them now and have them sign it.
Absolutely.
So if I know he's listening right now, so yes, you can go, you know, you can go ahead and do that. But I just want to, you know, this is very important. And if it is that we do want change, then you have to help and you have to be part of that change. It's not going to take a lot out of anybody just to find, look, we have petitions throughout the country. If you're from Central, so many places in Central, so many places in North, so many places in South. It's not going to take a lot out of you just to go there and sign it.
Funny, you put up somewhere in Tigamato, where in Pinal, you put up somewhere in Pinal,
Correct.
where in St. James.
So I've been So I've been sending them the locations. Where are you located? Let me know on Facebook. I've been doing it. Okay, you're in North. This is where you can go. Central, South. These are the locations. But where else? And I've been getting that too. I said, listen, if you want to sign it, and you want to take part, and this is your way of helping, you need to sign it. Everybody wants a safer and better country to live in, right? But everybody has to come out and help and do their part, and that is the only way things will happen. That's all I have to say. So please come out and sign the petition. Yes, we will be in South. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you tomorrow, 10 persons at a time. We do not want to, you know, get in any problems tomorrow. Correct. I do not know.
Find out if there's something that they could do that makes it COVID.
Well, I would like to attend it so I can see how they do it. And maybe if they have...
Hector Joseph.
Well, my closing comments. Again, we want to thank all of
Should I just know your mother was a politician, right?
Some of the people, the older
Tell
people.
them that you'll be channeling that.
I love politics,
Margaret
but I see like...
Hector.
But right now, I just want to just focus on the matter at hand. You know, I don't know that I want to get into politics in its present incarnation in Trinidad and Tobago, because I don't know that we have a space that lends itself for you to have a conscience and for you to be able to like effectively serve the people. So like, let's just say your party, let's just say you're the opposition, right? And your party decide that, you know what, the government bill might be good, the people need what the bill is for, but we're gonna rubbish them and shaft them, and we ain't supporting them. And I am Abner Hector Joseph, a Christian with a conscience in the opposition, and I can't support that, because I will not sleep, I will not eat knowing that I did not support the government. Not because the bill was good, not because the people were benefiting, but because the leader said...
People don't reach the point where they could say the leader say. You can't get into those parties just so. You have to drink the Kool-Aid. You have to swear fealty and allegiance to the cult head. You have to say that whatever they say, the reason for that...
Well, okay, I didn't drink that. I went up for elections and I didn't get that memo.
Because, and it's the same reason, what they did to you, they did to Marsha Riley. And Marsha Riley is far and away, head and shoulders above anything Kurt Mayhew will ever be as a PR. And Marsha Riley put everything on the line for the UNC in Diego Martin West and brought Keith Rowley low, had him in a street fight. And the UNC didn't realize that Marsha Riley hit all of the right optics. Young single mother, she married now, but she raised a child, she ran so many things. And I mean, I watched her lead a fight against Arbor School, and the woman is capable, talented, and she gave you her all in a place where the same way you did. And why did it make Marsha Riley the PRO? I will never understand. They do not treat the constituency that you ran for like you have a chance. So if you had a hope in hell up with it, you would have got on them.
Because you know how this works, right? I don't like to talk about this, you know, but I just say they have people that certain people they send out because they know they're going to get the votes. But that's not the people that they want to put in a certain position to make a minister or whoever. So say, for instance, they're going to use you because they know you will get the votes. They're going to put you out there and let you walk, let you meet everybody, do what you have to do. But at the end of the day, you're not going to Parliament. And that's how they do it. And I find that's wrong. Because why should you do all the work and somebody else, you know, get all the praise for it? I'm just saying, why?
But I love politics.
Nobody politics in this country.
And I would love the opportunity to one day be able to sit in the Parliament and to be part of the legislature.
You are an oxymoron, I swear. You are a walking oxymoron.
No, I love politics, but in its present incarnation. I grew up in a politics from 81 with the ONR, when it was not, well, you see what I'm born yet, right? Uncle Carl, right.
So you will give me history.
Right, so there was the Organization for National Reconstruction, which came out happened, the same thing that happened with the cop in 2007.
In O'Connell Street was Clive
of
Pant
course,
in office.
Uncle Clive, we got votes like crazy, and my mother was mad, like, how could you be a non-PNM in Diego Martin West? We paid dear for it. They stoned my mother when she was pregnant, threw pee on her, put rubbish in her. So I know what it, yes, you understand? My mother was like on a platform, pregnant, bursting at the seams, and a big stone dropped right in front of her, right? No, the one afterward, right? She was born just a few, and it was, I mean, it was horrible, because why? Because you dared to even think in a space that we had already received that mantra that the country belongs to a particular group of people. Like, how dare you even come up with an option? And as a child, I was like, let me see, 1981 elections, I would have been 10 years old, and I remember sitting in a maxi, and I memorized the manifesto of the ONL. And I remember talking to big people and saying, so, I could tell them what the manifesto of the ONR was. They said, me, I born at this. I can't buy this. The doc give me education. I said, so what is the manifesto of your party? They didn't understand that. And from 10 years old, I understood that our politics in Trinidad is not about common sense. It is not about rational thinking. It's just, right, it's cult. But I didn't know the word cult. I was like, what is this? The good doc died in March, I think. We had all people going in the polling booths saying they voted for like, I'm telling them with a stick, because they had not conceptualized that things had changed. We went 81, we went through 83, we had the accommodation, which was not a fuller land, but it was the ULF at the time saying, okay, we are going to accommodate each other. When I was going up in Diego Martin West, we were with this particular location, we would not go and stuff. And then of course we had the merging of the whole in 86 individual parties and coming together as a national. You had the ULF, the DAC, and the UN, and then Mr. Robertson was head of the DAC, leading the NAR. And the country felt a sense of, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, when I stood on that truck outside the Woodford Square some weeks ago, I felt that same feeling that I felt in 1986, that hope was born for this nation.
How small our little headquarters was in that side street in town.
Albion Street. But I grew up in the area office. I can tell you about that.
A water tank with a flag.
Listen to me, hello. Do you know what the ONR? Listen to me. Do you know what the ONR office
Y'all
was?
Y'all are really annoying me right now.
Do you know the ONR office was right on this street? Next door here, where the Pantry Tobago is, a woman named Selma Baradas and Louis Baradas, right next door.
Tell us something, Tobago. This is a strong and powerful team. Don't watch them slide. Avanel, you have to give me a closing comments. Felicity to go home. There are people outside.
Find it. We want you to find it. We want you to sign it. We want you to encourage you to encourage others. Today, being in St. was a different experience. Because traditionally, it wasn't been a long tradition, but in the last couple of weeks, I have been around a lot of people who have been into the movement. Today, what I found around the St. James area is a lot of people that don't know who we are or what we are about. And that was interesting because there's a different set of demographic. So we need you, with all the limitations of the gatherings and doing all those mass things, to be the hands and be the feet, be the mouth of what we are doing, because we are all doing it for us. So make sure your friends know, ask them if they sign it, try to explain with them. A lot of people have that trepidation. Who I met today, is it political? No, it is not political. We are speaking to the political directorate, but the petition of itself, we can make that distinction. So encourage your friends to sign, because the days are coming down.
I am proud to be part of such a powerful team of women. Felicia, Jody, Avanel, Candice begs your indulgence as she has an important matter trial tomorrow. They're hard at work and she couldn't make this as much as she wanted to, but she's sending us pointers and tips while we on air. They're powerful. They're a powerful bunch of ladies, and they've made it. She's Candice, our PRO. But they've made it possible for this to be what it is. And we, the people of the Candlelight movement, invite all of Trinidad and Tobago to stand together for the things that will change how women perceive life in this country. I'm a father of a daughter now, and I do not want her growing up in a country where she is a second-class citizen, where she could be abused and disrespected and at will. And that's the Trinidad that women live in now. And some of them have had to come to terms with it as a normal. We need to change that normal. We need to decriminalize pepper spray and tasers and non-lethal weapons so that women have a chance to defend themselves. And people tell you that strong fences make good neighbors. People don't interfere with people that they know that they can put them back down. And if you're not going to provoke somebody if you could find yourself zapped or pepper sprayed or shot. We want women to be able to have firearm users licenses. Protection of your physical body is the foundation of all law. You are the basis of it. Self-protection, self-defense. We want women to be able to do that. We want women to get into, not our public transport system is such nonsense. We have to use PH taxis because there's nothing functional. Even though they've known how to fix it 30 years now, they've refused to. So women have to use PH taxis. So we want to regulate it and regularize it and make sure that when they get into the PH taxis, they're safe. That's not unreasonable. We want to make sure that you can't go and buy a license plate under the Breadfruit Tree license office anymore. That it must be something that is difficult to obtain so that you can't impersonate a H taxi that was done to Andrea Barrett. We want to make sure that we get a commission of inquiry into the criminal justice system. If you join this show late, watch the first hour and listen to Vernon DeLima, one of the best known and most accomplished criminal defense attorneys in this country's history. And he's speaking frank, and he's bringing out some information soon. I want to say the Candlelight movement are coming together of good hearts and minds throughout this country, and we feel the feedback when you send it. We have teams outside there, Paul now, Satish Ramsey, and Sean Sinarine, Joseph Rich Paul, Sandra, what's Sandra's last name? You know Sandra's last name? We have so many strong, capable people that come together to make this thing happen. Your job is to find the petition, sign the petition. If you are moved to get a copy of that petition sheet and go and make photocopies and walk up and down your street and get everybody on your street to sign, then do that and get it back to us, 486-2888, 471-2888. Yeah? Thank you all of you who stayed with us in this extra long edition of Plain Talk. It was enjoyable and tiring. I can't wait to go home and eat and sleep. So, for Plain Talk, until next week, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to all of the people behind the scenes, Satish, Crispin, and the rest of the crew. So, as always, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.